it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Can't be.
Brother Neil Frazier is in the house, ready to share that vast wisdom, ever growing, because he applies himself and he absorbs, he meditates, he does all the things necessary to grow. When you observe him and you take time and look as the years go by, it gets more and more awesome. When you plant a seed and go away and come back and think you're going to see a sapling, but you see a tree, that's nature. And you are the ultimate manifestation of nature, my brother. You keep growing and you keep on going. And I'm glad to be here with you. I'm just going to make a little announcement. I'm not showing my face because I had some dental work done. So I'm going to be a little more quiet than usual, even though I still going to talk a lot. But I'm going to rest myself a little bit and just sit down in the seat, grab my pen and paper, and take notes while the great brother teaches. Talk to us, brother.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, brother, for those kind words. I always have to look around when you're talking about me to make sure, or wondering if there's somebody coming behind me. But yeah, man, it's always great. A little hoarse. I was speaking a lot last night, but yeah, man, it's always good to come on your show, chop it up with you, and share our wisdom with the family, and just put it out there so we can know what we're doing, where we're headed, why things are the way they are. And that's why we're a think tank. We have to discuss important issues and issues that are important to us. So I want to greet everybody in the chat room. I made it my business to learn some of the names, so I'm really appreciative of the people being engaged in the presentation as well. I like to start out with a little story, kind of just to break the ice. And this one is about a caterpillar and a butterfly. So actually, the butterfly used to be a caterpillar, obviously, right? But everybody doesn't change into a butterfly. Everybody doesn't have a metamorphosis. So one day he was out, and he ran into his old ex, and of course she was still a caterpillar, and she just looked at him, and she couldn't believe it. It was like she was looking at a ghost or something, or an alien. And he said, "Hey, so good to see you. I haven't seen you in a few years. Do you have a few minutes we can sit down and have a little drink or something to eat, and chop it up?" So she still had this stunned look. And I don't want this to sound sexist. So I'm just using, a play on words here. And they sat down and they started to talk. And so the caterpillar said, "Wow, you have really changed." He said, "Yeah, I found out we're supposed to." And she got up and left the table, and he never saw her again. And yeah, that's deep, huh? I just thought about it today. I was thinking about something to put out there. But that's sort of like a lead-in to what we're going to talk about today, the nature-nurture controversy. It's a concept that's used in psychology. It's kind of an old concept, but it still applies today. Well, it's not an old concept. It applies to us today. But along with the nature-nurture controversy, we're also going to talk about the attack on truth. And as promised, I'm going to be mentioning and bringing up some of our great social scientists, scholar. I don't like to use the word scholar because you could be a scholar in something outside of the established norm. Okay, but the fact is that we have scholars such as LanceScurv with his production and the way that he deals with the issues that we deal with that are important to us. And we also have academic scholars that have done work to bring certain information to us. So we can't limit ourselves based on the narratives that people have established for us. And that's where our conversation is going today. So today, I'm going to channel my inner Dr. Amos Wilson, who is and I recommend that your listeners plug into his work. One of our great social scientists, social psychologists and scientists who died too soon. And I'm going to use the terminology that he used to describe our environmental situation. But first, let's talk about nature. When some people might ask the question, what is nature and nurture in terms of the controversy? Well, there are two schools of thought here. One is that we are influenced more by our primary environment in which we are born into. Blood relatives and the people that comprise, our sphere of family. And then there are those that are not, our blood relatives who I'm convinced is sometimes your relationships with them are closer than the ones with your actual primary relatives. But be that as it may, all of the things that are involved in our nature in terms of our genes, our hereditary traits, how we learn language and how to apply language. We learn all of that in our primary home. Even our outlook on life, what we want to be in life, how we go about living life was all in this incubator that was your primary home, your primary environment. And that's one part of the controversy, nature. The other one, which I feel today has a far more reaching effect on us as a society, is nurture. And nurture encompasses our environment, where we go to school, where we socialize, where we work, all of these things, how we view life in our primary environment or wherever we go. That's what's considered nurture. And today you have to throw in the social media factor. So that is the essence of the argument there. Now, I said I wanted to channel my inner Dr. Amos Wilson, a great Black social psychologist. He's also written many books on how we can, a blueprint for Black power, and also how we can educate our children, or how we must educate our children. So again, before I go to the nature side, because that's going to be the gist of everything that we're focused on. But I just want to make the point that our nature is defined by those who are in our primary environment, and even our deepest desires are formulated in that incubator that we grew up in. This is why you can't deny who you are, because your hereditary traits or what I like to call your genetic memory bank, is formulated within the fertile soil of that incubator. So we can't get around who we are. And, you know, it would be great if people, instead of trying to be what other people want them to be, would just focus on who they are. Take your primary trait and build that up and use that. You have enough inside of you to generate the type of energy in your life that you need to move forward. So let's get that out of the way, that your natural environment, okay, well, in some cases, it's unnatural because we know we have a lot of dysfunction in the Black homes. A lot of that comes from just the stress of environment, of the environmental pressures that we have to deal with as Black people. And a lot of it just comes from, you know, a lot of these things that we have taken on that's outside of our nature. So when we move to the environmental side and society, Dr. Amos Wilson used the term a crimogenic society. And what he said was that in a crimogenic society, all of its constituents are criminalized, okay? And we know that, you know, we have this dichotomy of this picture that is painted of the good, you know, Christian nation. But we also know behind that door, there's another reality. The reason why the term crimogenic means that from its origin, this society that we live in was founded on two massive crimes. The theft of Aboriginal lands and the chatteling of Aboriginal people and the kidnapping, death, and destruction and forced labor of African people. And those two massive crimes are at the root of our society, and they are still active today. And why does that create a problem for us? It creates a problem for us because if you don't recognize that you are being lied to, you're being deceived, and you're being manipulated and pigeonholed into areas that your primary nature is unfamiliar with. So in other words, the society itself at its root is a crimogenic society. And its source, okay, is based on falsehoods. And so the statement that all of the constituents within that society, okay, are criminalized, okay, just through the falsification of truth. And this is why we have had this tremendous attack on truth in the last 50 years. Certainly it goes back millennia, but I just want to focus on the last 50 years. Is that what we have done is, from the nurture aspect of it, is that we have created a false society. And this false society has reaped so many of the things that denigrate us today. if you look at this society in terms of its true nature, then you will realize that you were created, or this system was created for you to be oppressed and not to be what you call successful. The system is designed for that. So imagine growing up in a system where everything that you do is defined or established to destroy you. Then you get the picture of why we have a society that focuses more on criminal activity than human activity. Okay, so we have gone from being the guardians of the universe and the guardians of the planet to the scavengers of the planet. And why do I say that? Now, I don't want anybody to get offended by that word. What I mean by that is that we have become scavengers because we refuse to walk away from the destructive ideologies that exist in this system. And these destructive ideologies, okay, are at the root of all of the psychosomatic problems and issues that we are currently suffering through as a society. But when the leadership of a nation lies and deceives its people, then the people themselves regurgitate these lies. And so this is why so much Black hate is internalized, because there is nothing in this society, unless you create it, that is going to build your self-esteem. So when we look at the nature-nurture controversy, this is one of the major issues that we must look at. Okay, we must look at the fact that we are living our lives based on lies and deceptions. And that in itself causes the schism that we are experiencing. A lot of people often say, well, how do you know what your true nature is? Come on. That's an elementary question, because every one of us, deep down inside of us, know who we are, where we came from, what we came from, and who we are. We know this. This is not something you have to guess at. But the ultimate question becomes, why is it so easy to influence us to go in the opposite direction of what the Creator created us to be? And this is the question, as a Black think tank, that we must put out here. Okay, and we must examine these things, because it's not going to get any better. Why is it not going to get any better? Because nature teaches us when the leaves fall off of trees every year, they grow. I mean, when the branches and the leaves fall off, it grows new leaves. Nature teaches us that. But often what happens with us is we don't grow new leaves. In fact, we operate off the leaves that have been dead and gone and on the ground for years. And some of them are swept up, put in a bag, and thrown in the garbage. So let's look at that for a minute. Let's look at this great lesson that nature teaches us about shedding leaves. one of the most important things that happens, and I'll never forget, this was something that I really loved, like in the fall time when the transformation actually happened, and you could really see it, just like in the spring, but in the fall, you could really see the transformation happening. So when we look at our condition as Black people, okay, and you know, Black is a descriptive term, okay, that's all it is. And that's all I use it for. But you know, in antiquity, there are many cultures that had words, okay, that reference us as a blackface. So it's an apropos term to use. The thing that happens to us is that we still have this feeling that we must validate everything we do through a systemic in society, a systemic frame of reference that's based on racism, that's based on hatred of Black people. You can see it, and you turn the TV on, you can see it in terms of how Black people have to constantly fight for jobs. You can see it in any walk of life that you apply this to. So people can deny all they want that this imperialistic system is directed towards its Black constituents, to deny them the right to live, okay, to live as they were created to be. And one of the real symptoms of the attacks you can see is that all of what we used to look at as being significant in our lives are being taken away. And why is that being taken away? It's being taken away because the system that designed this knows that you love this more than you love your brothers and sisters. When nature teaches us that our greatest strength is as a collective. Just look at the ants. One of the interesting thing about the ants, okay, and you can get an ant farm or ant hill and observe this behavior. Or you can find an ant hill somewhere and observe this behavior. All of the ants have a specific task. The army ants and the ants that actually go out and get the food and bring it back. But if the interesting thing is, if one of those ants don't bring back his weight, they're this little and they're carrying shit this big on their backs. But one of them come back without it, they cut his head off. Yeah, the other ants cut his head off. And to me, that's symbolic of the fact that we're all accountable to each other. So because we're living in a system that's built on lies and deceptions, then it's very hard to really identify what the truth is. And this is why Black people must begin now, okay, to turn away from this degradation, because it is not in our chakras. Black people, okay, again, and I've said this before, we have not gone around the world and pillaged the lands of other people. We have not killed and murdered millions of people. We have not raped the women of lands that we went to. We have not destroyed any civilization unless it was to defend against some type of aggression against us. And why is that important? That's important because that helps you to identify your true nature. You're not someone who was created to go out here and lie, deceive, kill, rape, and do all of these things. This is not in your nature. And so when you look at this controversy of nature versus nurture, I would have to say over the last 50 years, nurture has tipped the scale. Because as time goes on and we are influenced more by these unnatural forces that don't operate according to the natural laws of the Creator, then we begin to morph into beings that we were not intended to be. Okay? And if you were here in the beginning, when I talked about the caterpillar and the butterfly, and when they met years later, and the caterpillar said, you've changed a lot. And he said, yes, I found out we're supposed to change. So often what happens is, and I want to tie this into the analogy with the leaves falling off the trees every year, the branches, is that when his ex or the caterpillar left, the butterfly flew away. But when the butterflies come back to a caterpillar state or have a reverse metamorphosis, like we have been taught to have, then all of this implodes on us and it creates a whole new set of worms. So, I like, when I talk about these issues, I also like to talk about solutions, because as we know, but people are very good thinkers. We can identify issues, we talk about issues, we know what's happening. It's that we refuse to move. Okay, we refuse to move collectively in order to achieve something. And so this is why in this society you are taught, more than any other culture, you are taught to be independently wealthy. Okay, and this is a massive lie, because there's no such thing as a person being independently wealthy. And why is that? That's because all of the people that are telling you that run this society, all of them behind closed doors are connected. Okay, so if they were independently wealthy, well, they do become independently wealthy as a result of this collective. Okay, but it's also used to oppress you, because a Black person can't afford to isolate themselves if they become what you have been lied to about being independently wealthy. Because wealth to us is something totally different than what it is to the dominant culture. And so this controversy, I would have to say, is nurture has usurped our nature. So what are some of the things that we can do to change this around? Really, it's not that complicated. It's really not that complicated. And one other thing I wanted to say before I talk about some solutions here. Is I was watching a documentary on Australia, and there are a lot of people that don't know the history of Australia, where the Aborigine indigenous people. You can tell when I don't get enough sleep, right? Indigenous people were wiped out. They were blacker than me. They don't want to tell this story, but millions of original, indigenous, Aboriginal Australians were wiped off the face of the earth. I was looking at the pictures of them. They look, I mean, you know, so when we look at our real nature, you have to ask yourself this question. Why was it necessary to murder and eliminate millions of people and then continue that down throughout the centuries and the millennia? Why was that so important to those that came and conquered our lands? One of the things that happened, and when we did our video together on It Is Written in Stone, when they first encountered our lands and they saw the Medu Neter, you were taught to call hieroglyphics, they saw the one thing that they saw that frightened them so much was that they saw the picture of the bearded man, the throne, and the all-seeing eye. And they saw this prophecy, and they knew that one day that this was going to be manifested. And so throughout the history of our people, and whatever land you want to look at, this same playbook and narrative was played out. And so you have to look at that nurture or the environment, okay, influence Black people much, much more than our primary nature. Why is that significant in terms of how we resolve these issues and turn this around? It has to start with the kids. It has to start with the young people, because at the point that we are at, and when I say we, I'm talking about all Black folks that are over the age of, I would say, 45. Okay, or maybe even 40. They're in. Most of what we are influenced by, and most of what we get our greatest satisfaction from and our greatest desires, are the biggest negative impact, has the biggest negative impact on us than anything else. So in other words, the things that we love, okay, that we desire and that we show through our behaviors, are the very things that are used to destroy us. And the reason why I said we have to focus on the people under 40, the young people and the children, is because we have to teach them the truth. We have to do that. You know, no matter what the cost, we have to do that. And if we don't do that, if we fail this time to do this, we are going to pay a heavy price. We're already paying a heavy price. But again, if we change this, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Okay. And it is the mentality between the caterpillar and the butterfly that defines your life. And sometimes that caterpillar who was in you, now understand this, comprehend this, there would be no butterflies without caterpillars. And nature set this up for a reason. Okay. Because only those who are willing to have a metamorphosis will be able to carry out the Creator's plan. And sad to say, there are many Black people that will go back or walk out like the caterpillar did and leave, and you'll never see them again. But this is one of the lessons of nature that we must comprehend. You have this issue now, I heard, and they're always giving information and statistics to keep you in a low vibratory state, that young girls now are committing suicide or thinking about suicide more than ever. Why? Why is that? Okay. So let's look at, well, first of all, let's look at, because this is a Black think tank, you know, people always playing this inclusion game. There's nothing, we're not included in anything, okay? So I'm not even gonna play that game. We're not included in anything when major decisions about our lives are made. However, we can make our own major decisions if we can follow through with staying connected with each other and not buying into this lie about you being independently wealthy, or I got mine, nigga, get yours. This, we have to change this mentality with our young people. What does it matter if you grew up on the West Side and your brothers and sisters grew up on the East Side? Or what does it matter if they grew up on the North Side and you grew up on the South Side? This is the type of foolishness that we have to change with our children. What does that matter? How does that? It only serves to continue to divide and conquer our people. No more of this foolishness. This has got to stop. And those who are chosen to be butterflies, you must walk away from caterpillar influences. Now, this is what the meat and potatoes that I wanted to get into with our subject today. That the society, the crimogenic society that we live in, has kept the majority of Black people in the caterpillar state. And that in itself is against the laws and principles of nature. You are supposed to evolve from your lower consciousness, which the caterpillar represents, to your higher consciousness, which the butterfly represents. But you cannot, okay, you cannot get to that state, okay, without first shedding. If you look at the chrysalis, or when the caterpillar is being metamorphosized into a butterfly, it literally loses all of the parts of its body. It transforms. So the definition of metamorphosis is the transformation of a living organism from one state of existence to another, either by natural or supernatural means. When we apply that to melanin, okay, melanin can exist in all three states, in gas, liquid, or in its physical state. Okay, so this is why we must learn to flow with what's in our nature. And so when you see, I'll go back to when you see the leaves shedding from the branches, this is a clear sign to us. And what happens to trees that don't shed leaves? Have you ever seen a dead tree that doesn't grow leaves? What happens? Why does it die? Because something has been done to the root of that tree, to the soil underneath that tree. And why is that important? Again, nature is our greatest teacher. Why is that important? That's important because that lets us know that in our nature, okay, we have the ability to grow new branches. But I'll give you an example, when they put when they put poisons in the water in major cities, like, Detroit, Chicago, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Atlanta. You look at all of the L.A., or wherever you see the majority of Black people living, then something is going to be done to destroy their health. And this is by design. And so people always saying, Neil, why you always talking about war? But see, again, your concept of war has been stunted. Your concept, and then when someone tells you there is a war in heaven, you forget that you're in a damn war right here. You're in a war right here. You're in a war. And so when we look at nature as our greatest teacher, then we find these lessons that can help us identify things that are unnatural, that are not good for you. And lastly, the designers of this system are criminals themselves. Okay? So what you have to do is take a laundry list of all of the things that you see that has a narrative of Black people and study it, look at it. And then have conversations with other Black people and ask them how they feel about these issues that you have identified. We can't be afraid to talk about this stuff because we are losing the battle to teach our children truth. And one of the reasons we're losing the battle to teach our children truth is because we're still stuck in the caterpillar state. We're still stuck there. We're not moving. And then we're not trying to, the people that are doing it, the system puts you against them. Okay? You have to look at this stuff. You cannot deny that you're at war. You're in a psychological warfare and a spiritual warfare. You cannot overlook this and pretend that we're living in a diverse environment or a diversity. That's a misnomer. Because when you have physical diversity without spiritual and psychological diversity, then you're operating again at the caterpillar state at a 90-degree angle, and you're able to be manipulated through lies. Because, and I always like to use something in your book that you love so much, that when your eyes are the things that are lustful. But lustful doesn't always have to be about sex. And see, they constantly keep your mind on sex. And I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm immune to this stuff. Okay. We are simply addressing these issues that need to be addressed, and we are moving into the metamorphosis state. We can no longer afford to stay in the caterpillar state because our children are going to suffer for this. Last year, I believe it was last year, a couple of years ago, maybe, there were 50,000 Black and brown women missing. What do you think? If the melanin in your body or in your brain or in your being was not critically important, people wouldn't be stealing and kidnapping you to get it. So again, we have to accept and validate our nature, who we are. Stop trying to be other people. Stop teaching our kids that they have to have these things in order to be validated by other people, and start focusing their minds on talking with their peers and learning how to build together. Because at the end of the day, they are going to be stronger together than they are going to be separated. The other thing that we must do in terms of our think tank is we have to come out of our comfort zone. Okay, this is something that has I think has had a huge effect on Black people, where we are more concerned with how people view us in terms of our what you call success than we are about building and being who we are, putting our narrative out there and improving our culture. We have to do that. All of these attacks on us and our culture and our children, a lot of it can be deflected. But we got to start beating the drum. We have to continue to beat the drum. Brother Lance, I'm very grateful for you, brother, because if we don't continue to beat this drum, the lies and deceptions and the criminality directed towards our people is going to continue, and it's going to get worse because nobody is fighting against it and calling it what it is. I shouldn't say nobody. There are a lot of people that are doing that. What I meant is that as a whole, we must change our desires. Okay. And until we change our desires, we're always going to be, okay, stuck in the mud like quicksand. So the nature versus nurture controversy is very important. It's very important because we have to make a choice right now. We have to make a choice as a people right now. Are we going to continue to regurgitate these lies? Are we going to continue to teach our children these lies? And are we going to throw away our humanity, our spirituality for these lies? So what you're doing by living out these desires and this degraded behavior is now there's no war in heaven, the war is here. You are contributing to the war against your people. And so when you see, it's interesting, again, man, California teaches you so much, because one of the other things that happens here is it's different than it is in any other place in the country. Well, maybe other than New York and maybe Atlanta is like an international city. A few other ones, Chicago, that I can think of that are international cities. But one of the things you see clearly is that the immigrants and the people that are coming here to this country, they're all in on that narrative. And that narrative is crushing you. That narrative is crushing you and our people. So what you have to do is, and again, I want to put this out here today to start mentioning, our great scholars and our great people who have contributed to the rise of Black people. We want to start to put more of their names and their information out. The Academy wants to do that. Oh, the Academy will do that. So study the work of Dr. Amos Wilson. One of the things they try to do is bury the information that our great scholars have given us, like when they destroyed the University of Timbuktu and University of Salamanca. The one thing that they want to take away from you is your ability to know who you are, and then to let other people that look like you know who you are. So when the internet, they're cleaning the internet of the works of our great historians that have gone before us. A lot of their work you can't find anymore. So a lot of times I go to these secondhand bookstores just to see the type of books. So now they have the little sections categorized, and in most of them now they have African American history or culture, and all of it is about slavery. All of the books that you see in bookstores about African Americans, primarily, I'd say 75% of them is about slavery. So now we must do something about this. We must have more of an effect on the nurture element, the environment, as it pertains to us and how we view it. But we also must begin to continue to do a lot of deep soul searching in our nature. And I don't even know how long I've been talking, but Brother Lance, if you want to do what we did before, where we engage some of the listeners, I'm open to that. Or maybe Lance, I know he just came from the dentist, might be cooling out or chilling out, resting a little bit. Let me see here. Is there any questions? I don't see it. Oh, I don't know if I can even. But so one of the things that we have to do is we have to have more of a positive influence on our environment, okay, than the negative influence that. And what's so amazing about this is there's only 10% of our culture, or maybe 8%, that is doing these degraded types of behaviors that are being flashed on the TV and on the internet all day long. The majority of Black people are people that want the best for their fellow brothers and sisters. This lie, yes, there is a lot of hate in our manufactured hate, by the way. Okay. But Black people still have a strong connection. Okay. We have a strong connection to each other. Okay. But one of the things that's hurting us is that our nurture part, or the nurture influence in society, okay, has shot up from being 50% of influence in our lives to 90% when you add the social media aspect as well. And I was talking about earlier this study about young girls contemplating suicide. I believe that one of the things that happens is, well, for one, the feminine energy is intuitive. Okay. All right. So when they begin to feel the reality of what they're experiencing, because they have been socialized emotionally. How many likes you have, or somebody didn't respond to a meme you put up, or people are not seeing you enough, or I'm not attractive enough, or whatever dynamic is used against young girls. It is because of the crimogenic characteristics that exist in this society. Okay. When you are training our young women to be adversaries of boys, this is crazy. This is crazy. Because what you're doing is you're eliminating the most relevant, the most relevant natural principle in the universe, and we see it in everything. It is at the root, it is the law of polarity, or the law of opposites. We see this through the creator, masculine principle, and the creatrix, the feminine principle. We see this through two great forces that affect us: electromagnetism. We see this. So when you begin to go against the natural principles of the creator, then you set up these dynamics that are going to destroy, or has destroyed, our society. Okay. So again, I'm waiting to see if Brother Lance wants to bring anybody in. I'm not sure. I don't have the ability to bring anybody up to talk to anyone. Well, let me see here if I can get, let's see. Chat. Okay. Nothing happened. So what I'm going to do talk to you real briefly about, here we go. There we go. I want to talk to you real briefly about, again, staying with the fact that we need to have solutions, because many of us already know what the issues are. When we communicate with each other, it should always be at a high vibratory rate. And the reason for that is because you have enough negative energy that's going to offset what you're doing positively. So when you compound negative communication with negative behavior, okay, or negative factors in the society, then you're overwhelmed. You're overwhelmed to the point where you can't really see where you're headed. The road ahead is foggy. And this is what happens to us many times, is that, again, this happens because within our psyche, we have these issues that put us diametrically opposed to our own nature. And so we have to figure this out. You know, we can't continue to get all of our validation and desires from doing negative things and perpetrating negative communications towards each other. And I'll use a line that Malcolm used all the time. Who taught you to hate yourself? Who taught you, okay, to be against the very thing that makes you black? Who taught you this? Certainly you didn't learn this through nature, but you were taught, and everything was reversed in order for you not to see the real truth in front of you. And one of the other things that a crimogenic society does is it makes you comfortable with the fact that all of these negative things or bad things being perpetrated on the citizens of this nation, it makes you comfortable with the fact that this is normalcy, that this is the normal way that we are supposed to live. You can't build anything with having principles in the foundation of what you're building. And when those principles are skewed, and when those natural principles are changed and they're reversed, because that's actually what a deception and a lie is. It's the truth being reversed. And once we begin to face this and say, okay, we know that this lie about inclusion is not real. That we're the only thing we have. We're the best thing that we have. So we have to war against this ideology, because this ideology was designed to destroy you. So again, I just want to thank everybody in the chat room. I think Brother Lance might be out because of the medication that he had to take. And again, I appreciate everyone. I have a 2 o'clock appointment, so I kind of have to end it here. But, you know, I always enjoy chopping it up with the family. You guys are the best. And just continue to seek, you know, a cocoon experience, a metamorphosis, and become your higher self. And there'll always be people that are going to remain in the caterpillar state and go out the door, and you fly away. And there are always going to be people like the leaves that are shedded on the trees that are going to fall off. But you have these new, pretty green leaves that you can actually pour yourself into. So this is Neil Frazier, aka Metamorphosis, the Black Butterfly, wishing you a great day.
You okay, brother?
Yeah. Hey, brother Lance, you back? I thought you were knocked out for a second. Can you give me 2 minutes? I got to check on something. I'll be right back.
Yes, no problem.
Okay.
Come back.
Yeah. I'll be
Don't
back.
worry about it, man. I got a lot of medication for me. Okay. Yeah. I'm not gonna hide it. I had a lot of dental work done today, and I'm a space cadet right now. So it wasn't that he was boring. I had to just sit because by the table here, I have to sit upright. So I went elsewhere where I could lay back a little bit while listening and everything. And so I'm gonna read more. It's what was I gonna say here? It is not even time for a regular show, is it? Yeah, we're way before time. And I take it he is gonna come back because I kind of slipped off a little bit. I tell you, boy, I got so much stuff in me. I got up and I'm walking like I'm crooked. I said, wait a second, what's going on here? So I lost the conversation for a while, dozing off on this, and I'm going to it's coming. A lot of pain there. Yeah, I took a painkiller, which I don't usually do substances like that, but in a situation like that, it will hit you, and the pain creeps in. So yeah. He shot me up a little bit because I was gonna videotape it. So let me point the camera back at. Let's see how this looks. But I was gonna do that, but I had the camera in the bag and everything, and I still got stuff to put up, but I might not put it up until a lot later. I may take a little rest and come on a little bit later than usual, which for everybody over there on the East Coast, it'll be right on par. But I hate to promise something and not deliver. So at least we have this one today. And I have a ton of footage of different things. I'm looking for this one. There's a guy out here, and I've had this in my camera for the longest time. There's a guy by the beach that he eats glass. And the last time I videotaped him, I was like kind of far, and I said, he's doing this again. Let me get right up on him. And it's a fabulous little clip. It's only like about 3 minutes long. I gotta find it, put it down and everything. So and a whole lot of other open footage, open walking and talking and stuff like that. But I'm coming back tomorrow with a vengeance, big time. Yeah, did he say he was over, or he said he's taking a break?
No, I'm back, brother. I just had to clarify something because I have the 2 o'clock appointment. I switched it. I had to go to where the computer was.
Okay, well, I'm close by. I'm gonna be right over here by the couch. I got the speakers turned up so I could hear you. If I happen to nod out, not from you being boring, because you're not boring at all, but it's like World War III, all these chemicals and stuff.
No, I get it, man. The medication.
Brother, I'm right here.
Yeah, hey, look, what I'd like to do, if possible. What did you say, Lance?
You tell me.
Oh,
no, go ahead. I'm open. I'm on.
So how you feeling? Did you want to do the format with the people coming on, or?
Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm right here, man. As long as I'm right and relaxed. What made it worse today was I stayed up so late doing some editing and doing some other things, and then I only got like a couple hours of sleep, and then I realized I woke up. Mr. SCURV was up in the garden up there, so I was on my own. So I had this. Okay. She made me, but I took a little quick bite, not realizing I wasn't going to eat all day. So I left out of here to be there on time, and the sun just got me, and I got there, and I had to wait, and they shot me with the chemicals, and, I left. I actually left. He's located at the hospital, not realizing I forgot to pick up the antibiotics. So I had to turn around, even tell Mr. SCURV that. That's why I was so late. I was halfway home and said, oh man. So I had to turn around, go all the way back and get the antibiotics, which I didn't want to take a chance and get it anywhere else because it was on my card. And I didn't have it's in the system at the hospital. So I went all the way back and got it and took my time and came back, and I was just I was just tired.
I get it, bro.
Drained.
I get it.
Not tired,
Yes.
but tired from the ordeal all day and not eating. So that's when I text you. I said, man, let me throw down this plate real quick, get some nutrition in me, and we'll roll. So I'm here right now, and I got a ton of work to do. So we can open up the lines if you want. And
okay,
I got no problem with that. Roll all night, man. That's no problem. It's just, you know, when you sit down, you know those cars that you ever have an old car that there's something wrong with it, and if you stop, it just do. And so you get to the red light, you're scared, like, oh my God, you gotta So me, if I sit down, I'm like, do.
Right. Well, I switched from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, so
so
we're good.
Okay. I'm dropping the link in the room right now. Anybody wants to come in and talk to Brother Neil Frazier, aka Metamorphosis, which we should all have that at the end of our name, because we all should be going through metamorphosis about change. See, I can still mess with chemicals inside me. I think I talk it better. I don't know. But anyway, there's the link if you want to come in and or exchange or have something to say. Just hit that, click it. If not, we're here. Leave comments. But
I'll continue a little while. If not, I'll continue a little while.
Say it again.
If not, I'll continue to chop it up a little while.
Yeah, continue, brother. Continue. I'm just going to answer call to nature and come right back here. But continue. We're never tired of you, man. The longer, the better. That's what I was going to tell you. Every time we do a show, the longer you talk, the more effective it is. They just can't get enough of you. Okay. That sounds great. See you thing. All right. I'm here. So, I'll be right back. All right, bro. Okay. All right. So, so I changed my schedule so I can get back with you guys and chop it up a little more, because this is a very important subject. And I like to use nature, because again, at the Academy, we teach that nature is our greatest teacher, which it is. And I like to use nature because we can point out certain things through using analysis, or metaphors. We can point out things that ordinarily we probably wouldn't look at. And so there are a lot of one of the great teachings in nature that I like to talk about, and so I'll use this to describe the process for our solution to a lot of our issues is going to look like. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so the process is going to look like this. We know that there are 3 elements that are necessary in order for you for something to manifest and for there to be a germination period. And those of you who have listened to me before, I'm very big on this. I talk about this, is that you have to have fertile soil, you have to have the sun, vitamin D, and you also have to have water, H2O. Without any one of those 3 elements, you will not have a germination process. And the law of germination is very critical. This is why you must, from an individual basis, you must plant your thoughts in fertile soil. You must plant your gift, your natural gifts, in fertile soil. What has happened is the fertile soil for us has been destroyed. And I talked about George Washington Carver once, Dr. George Washington Carver, who came up with so many different ways to use peanuts. But what many people didn't know, that he also knew that by planting peanuts that he could make the ground more fertile. So we know through these processes in nature that this is the blueprint for our lives. And when I was talking about nature, that we need to have our nature to be more dominant than our nurture aspect or environment,
is because our kids are being swept away by this nurture environment. Okay. Whereas the only way we can combat these unnatural urges is to give them the lessons in nature by the Creator. But once you find fertile soil, you have to have people that are giving you sunshine. Okay, whoever those people are in your lives. And then you have to have water. You have to have someone watering your seed. And also, this process takes place with you in the lives of other people. And I say that to say that this lesson in nature, this natural lesson of germination and manifestation is so critical to us in the solutions that we are seeking. Because this is what happens. You find fertile soil, but you don't get the sunshine that you need because your sunshine is being manipulated where it doesn't affect you. Or if you get the sunshine, you don't get the water, like it's raining here today. You don't get the water that is the nutrient that goes in the ground. Okay, that's necessary too. So everything goes back to the root. When we deny our natural roots, okay, as the guardians of the planet and the universe, then we have put ourselves diametrically opposed to the Creator. We have. But we have been taught by a system that makes us think in this way. So the first thing that we have to do is, again, we have to look at the principles being taught to us in nature. So what happens to a seed that doesn't germinate? Well, just like all of the sperms that are released to fertilize the egg, those seeds will never grow. So when you have seeds, just plant them. And here's the other thing. Stop looking for some great manifestation of something, okay? Grow where you're planted. You don't have to save the world, but the manifestations of seeds from fertile soil has the power to do that on its own. So this is why so much is focused on who is the slickest, or who can deceive somebody the best, or who's the best talker, the best word manipulator. All of the focus is put on that because these are unnatural ways of functioning. Okay. But when you look at a person's true nature, this is why Black relationships falter. Because when we bring ourselves to the relationship, we are bringing our public self, not our private self. We are bringing our nurture, what we've been nurtured to be, and instead of our nature. And this creates a tremendous issue for us. And Brother Lance, I think looking here, I'm running low on this battery. I'm going to come in on my other phone that is full because my computer is in the front.
Yeah, no problem. So you want to switch to another phone, you said, or?
Yeah, I'm going to use my other phone because it has 58%. This one has 5%, and it's unless I charge it. However you want to do it.
Go ahead and come on. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So you want to charge it back later, or you want to switch on the same broadcast?
I can do it on the same broadcast.
Well, there's another phone that you have, or?
Yeah, I have another phone with me right here.
Okay, so
I'm
just
hitting the link
hit that
to come in. Okay.
Okay. Yes, hit the same link. and just come right on back.
Okay.
All right.
Got you.
And I'll be right here. I'll be right here waiting for you. Yeah, I'll be right here waiting for you.
All right. All right.
No problem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right here, brother. So, yeah. Sign up. Yeah. Okay. I see.
All right.
Damn.
Okay. I have. Yeah. I thought it was going to take a little more time.
Uh-oh. Hold on. Here we go.
Let me put you super clean. Turn it on the landscape, little brother.
Huh?
Yeah, you go right there.
Okay.
Just like that.
Okay.
All right. Carry on, brother.
Yeah. So one of the things that I was discussing about solutions, because many times we have these talks and we lay out the issues, but we must begin to focus on solutions as well. And at the root, this is why I was discussing the analogy in nature that teaches us why our roots are so important. Just because you plant a seed, the seed is not necessarily guaranteed to grow. Okay. So one of the failures that we have done, or one of the things that we have failed to do, I should say, is that we failed to recognize that we must continue to water and put sunshine on these issues for them to manifest and to germinate. But at the root of our problem is that we are planting our seeds in the soil of other people. And so there's no fertilization process that can happen as a result of that. And I'll give another analogy. Lance, you're familiar with this because I talk about this frequently, is that if you go to a hospital, okay, and the doctor pulls up your medical chart, he's not going to pull up the medical chart of another individual. He's going to pull up your medical chart. Okay.
Exactly.
Because if he uses the medical chart history of another person, then he's not going to be able to diagnose you properly and get to the root cause of your issue. And so that is what the same principle that applies to us. We have been socialized and taught, and specifically Black people have been taught to not focus on their root, who they are, okay, who we are as a people. Because many of the influences out of our environment, out of necessity, has to change what is inside of us. And this is why we live in an anti-Black culture, okay? So, people get upset when we discuss these things, but the thing is if we don't discuss them, then we're just going to get snowballed, and it's just going to perpetuate itself over and over and over again. So one of the primary laws that I want to teach today in regards to the solutions with the problems we have in our crimogenic society is the law of germination. I remember, I can't remember who said this, but they said that the cemetery is the most plentiful place of mankind. Plentiful in the sense that the majority of people transition from the earth and they take that gift and that seed with them. So the principle, the seed that they were given was taken to the grave with them, and society didn't benefit from it. But this is what happens in our everyday living state, is that we're not planting the seeds that we are supposed to plant, that is in our nature. Because there are people out here telling us, you can be a millionaire if you follow this way of thinking. You can be a billionaire if you do this. If you deny the seed that's in you, is it worth $1 million? And sad to say, the majority of our people who are given that choice, just like the analogy I use from the Bible when Jesus was taken up to the mountaintop, and the so-called Satan said, I will give you all of this if you would bow down and worship me. And so this analogy can be used to show us where the fault lies with us. Okay, when we're taken to that mountaintop, okay, and this TV and social media and all these people telling you that you, first of all, they have the resources to do that, but you're killing each other and killing our culture because they won't give you access to those resources unless you deny the creative spirit in you. And this is something that we don't want to talk about, okay? This is something we don't want to talk about, is that in order for you to have, again, when you're taken to that mountaintop, there's a price to be paid to have the very things that destroys the lives of Black people. Because trust and believe, I'm not saying that you should not seek to have good things, nice things. You deserve that. In fact, you should have it. What I'm saying is the way that you are acquiring these things, okay, have put you in opposition to the Creator's laws. How would you, I want to bring this home a little more. How would you feel if someone said, okay, the only way that I can give you this is that you deny who you are, forget about, because this is what happens a lot of times, is that we trade our seed for what's being given to us. But because of the law of polarity and the law of opposites, you're always gonna have this battle when you plant your seed. Okay, and we must understand and comprehend the laws of nature. That Black people who have carry the most powerful seed in the universe and in the planet cannot plant these seeds in unfertile soil. Or this is what I wanted, thank you, Creatrix. This is what I wanted to say. That what happens to us is, many of us, we do find fertile soil to plant, like the LanceScurv platform to plant, okay? But what happens is that the same elements of water and sun that you need to grow also has a flip side, where the unnatural elements that are trying to destroy the seed are present in your life at the same time. Another analogy in nature is that when plants grow, the weeds grow with them, okay? And you don't see the weeds until they have grown up. Then you know you got a problem. This is what happens when we put our faith and validate ourselves in a crimogenic society who at its root, okay, is an unnatural source. Okay, so how do we attack? Since we're at war, how do we attack this? We attack this by doing what we're doing right now. And there are a lot of other people that are putting this energy out. And this is why you see this attack on us getting stronger, because now we have manifested. So you have spent the last 2,000 years destroying our culture, okay? And the last 50 years in particular, with the attacks on our people in all areas of human existence, nonstop. You're coming, and you're presenting all these negative things against us. And so many of our seeds are in the ground. So what has changed? Now the Creator says it's time for this manifestation to take place. And this is why you're being attacked, why they're attacking. They take the very words that we use, like woke and being awake, and they demonize it. The same way they demonized Kemet in the Bible, or the ones that interpreted the Bible, where they demonized Kemet or Egypt, and they demonized the greatest system, spiritual system established on the planet by our people. So this is the same playbook that is used today. Is that when they recognize the seed in you, all hell is going to break loose, especially if that seed is in fertile soil. And especially if you have somebody like LanceScurv who is shining a big ass sun on you and on our people, okay, then you are going to manifest. When you have somebody like Mrs. SCURV who is pouring water literally down on vegetation and showing us how we're supposed to live healthy, this is a prime example of the manifestation of your seed gift, your natural gift. But what has happened to us is that so much of our time is taken up just trying to survive with the basic needs in life, food, shelter, and clothing, that you don't have time to meditate, spend time with yourself, to, the best time to meditate, okay, and learn about what's in your true nature, okay, is between, say, 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. And then you must get enough sleep from the hours between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. for melatonin to secrete, okay? So serotonin secretes in the daytime, and melatonin secretes overnight in the morning hours, the wee hours. So because of this natural principle that I just mentioned, many people have insomnia by design. There are things in the atmosphere that are designed to keep you in a higher state of anxiety. This is why we have an electromagnetic warfare. It's because now the things that you can't see are the things that are being used to attack you. You know? So all of these things, I feel that if we as a people just acknowledge, okay, just acknowledge the fact that this is the reality and this is the truth that we live every day, then we'll be able to come up with solutions. But we are still, like I said the last video, how much more proof do we need in order for us to know? Okay. So you're told to have faith in something that never manifests. Why? It's because you're not using the principles, natural laws that I discussed to you about manifestation of the seed and the law of germination. So every day you have to seek out those individuals that give you sunshine and give you water, because your seed has to continue to grow and germinate, and then the roots will take foundation in whatever it is that you're doing or that you're supposed to do. Because when you start to begin to see the manifestation of the natural gifts of Black people, you will see a power that you have never seen before. Okay, and when we stick together, when we encourage each other, and we present things before each other that are uplifting instead of tearing each other down, okay, like you have learned in this imperialistic system to do, then that's when you will see the laws of the universe and of the Creator being manifested. Now, this is another subject I want to mention real briefly about the nature-nurture controversy and why we're having issues with the feminine energy and our young girls contemplating suicide.
Take your time. Don't rush. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, don't rush. Take your time.
Okay, because when our girls look at TV or look at social media, and I'm talking about Black girls, okay? I'm sorry, I moved beyond that inclusion idea. I'm sorry, you guys, I focus on Black issues only. Brown issues too, but primarily we focus on Black issues because we are the only ones that are going to save ourselves. I don't care how much somebody tell you that you're saved. Okay, you're not saved. We're drowning. Okay, and there's not much oxygen left in the tank. But just like this water here, see how pure that water is? Comes from the mountains and rolls down. This is water that the Creator in nature gives us. But the system we live in is able to affect the water, the natural water that's given to us, okay, through their systems. And they are able to put poison in it. They're able to do all kinds of things and manipulate. Okay, so what the other area that we have to focus on with our girls is we have to make it plain that they are part of the universal creation and entity of the world. Okay, that they, as the creatrix, they must be clearly, this must be clearly defined to them. Why you shouldn't go in the bathroom or want to go in the bathroom with a boy. There's too much negative energy being put on our young Black girls, okay, to focus on just their bodies. Yes, we should worship the feminine body, but the Black woman is so much more than her body. So why does this system, because they are only rewarded if they put forth this image of their body. They're not, when they parade our women across the television scene, they are damn near naked. So then you have this issue with our young black girls. They don't know if they should act like a man or a woman. Well, I'm here to tell you today, they were created and given the creatrix spirit and energy. And why is that energy so important? And it's an attack on this energy, okay? And why they try to eliminate this energy is because when you have the melanated seed and the melanated egg, you have the most fundamental and powerful dynamic that exists in our universe, electromagnetism. And the feminine magnetic energy is the energy that causes electricity. As powerful as it is, it manipulates the electrons. Magnets do. So we know that this feminine principle is extremely important, because without it, we lose a vital part of how the law of germination actually acts, okay, and how roots are put in the ground. Because when we look at how the fetus is formulated, when it's attached to the umbilical cord, when it's in this liquid environment, the mother's placenta, and it's feeding from the mother, then we have that principle, okay, that we see in nature with the seed in the ground and the roots taking a hold and building a foundation. So we can look at specific things to see these natural principles in our lives and in nature. So again, I bring up all of that to say that the way out for us is going back to the Creator's principles, teaching our young girls that you don't have to be twerking, okay, in order, because I'll give you an example. A lot of people probably saw this movie when it came out, but it was really like a documentary about, I believe Taji P. Henson played in this movie, about the 3 Black women who were the ones, they were actually the human computers. I think it was called Hidden Figures, I think. And they calculated, okay, the trajectory of the spaceship to make it to, well, we know nobody's ever left inner Earth orbit, but to get to where they were going, to that space station in inner Earth orbit. If they want to say the moon, fine, but I don't know of anybody that can go through the Van Allen belt and not be burnt up through radiation. So you figure that one out. But at the same time, we need to be empowering our young women with feminine energy. Okay? Why should they have to be competing against men? This is insane. But because we have been indoctrinated and taught through a 90-degree system that does not let the feminine creatrix energy see themselves in their totality, then it forces them and pigeonholes them into this one area. I have to be more attractive than the next woman. Of course, we all like beauty. There's a standard of beauty. The other day, and like I said, I normally never comment on stuff I see on social media, but it gets to a point where it's just something got to give. So I ran across this this channel on YouTube, and they were showing the 10 most beautiful women in the world. And, you know, it's the same standard of beauty that has been given to us, you know, for centuries. And no black women at all, period. None. Okay. And so I wrote in the comments that it depends on who's compiling this list. Because in my mind, there is no higher standard of beauty than African women. Okay? There is no higher standard of beauty than melanated women. And you can get upset and mad at me all you want. I stand on that. So they should have been number one on the list. So I got a couple of clapbacks, but for the most part, you know, we're not going to let these lies dominate us anymore. And so this is what's happening to our young black women. They are gorgeous, beautiful. Why don't you have pictures of them with afros, cornrows? They don't have to walk around trying to look and act like, why do you have on? Okay, that's fine. If you want to wear lashes, that's fine. But we have to stop focusing so much on this pseudo beauty that has nothing to do with the creatrix spirit, because they are fundamental, okay, to the growth and development of our young girls. And if you show me how a nation treats its women and its girls, I'll show you the soul of that nation. And that is where we're at. We're at a crossroads right now. The Creator has opened this vortex now that you either got to go through, have a metamorphosis, or you got to go back. There is no more choosing. There is no more choosing. I'll give you an example in our society to bring this point to light. There is no more middle class. Okay. And that is also by design. Okay. There is no more middle class. So you have to look at this as, okay, what are we going to do in order to change the dynamics that exist for Black people? We're going to have to shout from the mountaintop that we reject the narratives of this system that says that we don't have value if we don't have the things that they have, or if we're not doing the things that has been defined to say that we are successful, because that's a lie. That is a lie. You are only successful in life, okay, when you take your primary seed and gift, allow it to germinate, and then manifest it to the world. That is the biggest thing in your life. This is why you were created, and why I was having this discussion with someone the other day about this. Why is it that Black people turn against themselves? What causes this? Because this didn't exist in our communities just 50 years ago. So what happened? What happened was, as I was mentioning earlier, that because we have been told that the only way we can validate who we are or our self-worth is through a system that is opposed to Blackness. And if you're willing to reject that, you can have anything you want. But when you do that, then you are rejecting the Creator that created you. And so these are the things that have to be defined to our children. You cannot be on the fence with this, okay? And you know, if you choose to go against the Creator's natural principles, then you're also choosing to get the judgment that comes with that and the consequences that come with that. And this is another thing that Black people have to realize, that they're going to make us fight against this. They're not going to allow you to be in the middle of the road with this. So the playbook is to take high profile celebrity Black people who have obtained the things that they say makes us successful, and then use them to degrade the principles of the Creator. So now you have a conflict. Well, if you're looking at these so-called successful Black people, but they are the ones that are spewing out all this garbage, turning our children into something unnatural, then you get confused. But the confusion has to stop right then. We have to clamp back right now when that happens. And because we are losing the fight with our young girls. We already know about our young boys. We already know about that. So this is why the creatrix principle and the magnetism and the power of the feminine energy is so important to the growth and development of Black people. Okay. Now, one of the other principles, or one of the other lessons that nature teaches us, or that we see in nature, okay, is the regurgitation of unnatural truths. Okay, we see this through the parrot in nature. Okay, the parrot is the first and original audio-visual system on the planet. What most people don't realize is everything that you see that man copied and created in this artificial world was copied from nature. And the nature that you have inside of you as a natural creator is stunted when you turn away from that. Okay, so what the parrot does is, the parrot doesn't, because I'm going to show you how they put forth narratives that prevents the germination and manifestation of the natural gifts of our children and our people. So the parrot, it only regurgitates what it hears. It doesn't edit it. It doesn't change it. This is a natural occurrence. This is how the Creator intended it to be. That whatever is said around the parrot, it's going to repeat it. It's not going to change it and say, this is what I heard, okay, and this is what I think, okay. It's going to regurgitate exactly what it hears. But on the flip side, on the unnatural side, this is why I say journalism is dead, real journalism, not all of it, a lot of it is, because they are editing, regurgitating unnatural lies that are being formulated by the criminals that run this system. And so when they get on there and they get on TV or social media or wherever they're paid to do this, they are going to paint a picture, okay, that's not based on truth, okay? Because truth only comes through nature, and the parrot teaches us that, okay? The other analogy I want to give is the sheep and the wolf. So the wolf is an apex predator, right? Aggressive, will eat you, eat your flesh, drink your blood. It's a apex predator. But then we have the complete opposite, a sheep. So why are you taught to have a sheep-like behavior through religion? That's not consistent with nature. Why are you taught to turn the other cheek? Why are you taught not to clamp back and fight back against people that you know are trying to destroy you and everybody that look like you and your damn children? Why are you taught to be a sheep? Because in nature, a sheep has to have a shepherd. This is why you're taught this, given this analogy, or given this to follow. Okay, this ideology to follow, or theology, is that in nature, a sheep has to have a shepherd, and those sheep follow that shepherd everywhere it goes. And matter of fact, one wolf can take out a whole rack of sheep, okay? But if the shepherd is there, it can drive away the wolf. So this is where you learn this savior mentality from, okay? But that's not who you are. You're not a sheep, okay? You're not even a wolf. So that's one of the things that I'm going to put out here for people in the chat room to describe which animal in nature, or which element in nature describes your characteristics or your nature. Okay, so why are you being taught to be a sheep? Let's deal with that. Okay, again, sheep would die if the shepherd didn't feed them. They are one of the few animals on the planet that is totally dependent on another person. Now, why do I give that analogy? Because Black people, more than anyone else, is totally dependent on a system that we know has been designed to destroy them and all those that look like them. This is a proven fact. We don't need any more proof of this. So we must ask ourselves, what is it about being a sheep and following a system that is destroying us and that's against the very principles of the Creator? What is it? What type of satisfaction do we get from doing this? That's a very perplexing. I would like somebody to tell me that. Let me know the answer to that. That's very perplexing. Because we are getting salt in an open wound that's dressed up like sugar. But at the end of the day, just like sugar, it's poison. Whenever you use any products with sugar in it, and this is why you go in any area where we are predominant and all you see is sugar products and soda pop and that kind of crap. That's all you see. Do you think this is so? The individuals that they have in our community with these stores, do you think that they care about this? Many of them are just looking at the financial aspect of it. And in fairness to them, they're looking at what we feed our children and our own people. So they're going to have the products that go sell off the shelf. potato chips, candy, sugar products. They're going to have that there because this is what we're feeding our children. So you see, if we look at nature, we will have all of the answers that we seek to reconstruct the pathways that we're traveling on. And this is very critical, people. This is very critical. We must begin this process right now. Okay. Someone, last point, I was talking to someone, this was before Christmas, and we were talking about, the businesses being exported out of the country. And why is that? Why are, and Black people from, or melanated people from other lands are being manipulated and exploited because they'll work for 1/3 of the wage that we work for here in this country. So the corporations here that you worship, they're exploiting all of the businesses outside the country. In fact, you can't make a call out of this country without it being rerouted through India, I believe Dubai, maybe. All of the call centers for our major corporations and a lot of our institutions have been sold out. Okay. But what we don't see is when this begins to happen, and it's been happening now for decades, that they are setting up the knockout punch. What do you think? And this is why I say that the crime, the crimogenic society that Dr. Amos Wilson spoke about manifests because you have no options. All of your options are and the options that you do have are based on the very same system that was designed for you to fail. So the very essence of our degradation is centered around the fact that we're trying to scale based on a system that continuously knocks you down. Every notch you get up, you're knocked back down. So here's another way of looking at this. That if you begin or you go back to nature and you go back to being taught by the Creator, that stuff won't matter to you anymore. You will walk right by one of those stores and you'll look at it and it won't even matter to you. You'll no longer have to buy something to impress a friend. Wouldn't it be nice if you didn't have to do those things? So why is this a form of validation? Even people, I hear people say, well, if you don't do this or do that, you must not love me. This is insanity. Because first of all, if you have to base and validate your self-worthiness on objects, okay, inanimate objects, then that means that you have lost all touch with your reality. And you are living in somebody else's reality like we have been forced to do. The other thing too is that when these jobs are exported, okay, then now I'm not a big Donald Trump fan, but the one thing that Donald Trump did have knowledge of was international, how these countries exploit and how our own corporations exploit our people. Okay. The fact is that this is done, okay, to destroy Black people. because we are the weakest link in the chain in this country financially. And this country is a capitalistic society that's based on assets, okay? And since we don't have any assets, then we are at the mercy of whatever these corporations do. So if they decide to ship all the jobs out the country, it ain't a damn thing we can do but sit back and complain. But the most critical part moving forward for us, and why I say now that the Creator has opened this vortex, okay, and why they are demonizing the word woke, is because now you must look through this vortex and see who you really are, and see that if you don't start creating jobs and creating a future for our children, that they're going to be in economic slavery. They're going to be in economic slavery. And I keep saying this because this is what's constantly being shown to me. And you know, I want to, not in a paranoid sense, but to prepare. I want to continue to beat the drum along with other people. And so, Brother Lance, I just saw that my battery is getting low on this phone. So I'm gonna, I think I have about maybe 20.
Also.
Huh?
You have an appointment that you shifted back also.
Yeah.
So you know, you can wrap it down here. Not that I'm saying to do it, but I mean circumstances. We truly appreciate the time that you give.
Lance, they can get started with what I gave them, the assignment. So
okay, but just
so
give me.
The only thing is I do have to leave in about 20 minutes though. So if you want to entertain while I have enough battery, some people, I'm open for that.
Okay. Let's roll. I'm good. I'm home, man. I'm good.
Okay. I don't have the chat room up, so I don't know if there's someone.
Okay, let me drop the link if anyone wants to say anything.
Okay.
Once again, I give that opportunity.
Or what have you.
But you can continue to roll until the next few minutes when you have to go. Just let me know. And we've been well fed today once again.
Okay. Well, I do have to wrap it up here. And
well, according to your time. Yeah, sure. Okay. You can start doing that because 20 minutes. So yeah, if you start wrapping it up, then that's good. But I'm not saying to wrap it up. I got all the time in the world. So just give me that call the next time. Okay. And we'll be right here the very next day. But go right ahead and bring it down to a close to get people to understand everything who haven't been here before.
Okay. So we'll go back to the original title of the presentation, the nature-nurture controversy. And that controversy, ideology has been used, or concept has been used in the field of psychology to describe or ask the question whether or not we are more influenced by our nature, our primary environment, our genes, our hereditary makeup, or are we influenced more by our environment outside of our primary home, or the nurture aspect of our behavior characteristics? And we know when you apply this to Black people that the fact that we're in a system that has been designed to bring out criminal behavior, what we know is criminal behavior, then that is also something that's weaponized against our people based on various factors. But the very people who have designed this system are criminals themselves. So, you know, you want to turn around and make Black men look like criminals when we don't have the power to bring guns into this country. We don't have the power to bring drugs into this country. We don't have the planes that fly, planes that fly guns and drugs into our community or into this country. So let's stop with this. You cannot, our behavior has to change, but those who have designed this system have to also be held accountable. So many times they're able to throw their rocks and hide their hands when they are the ones that are pulling the strings. So in conclusion, the answer and solution for Black people is that not only must we recognize that this is happening to us and talk about these things that are geared towards our demise and destruction, but we must take on a whole new attitude about how not only we view this, but how we teach this to our children and to each other. Okay. And we must walk away from these lies about us being included into the mainstream of this society. Okay. This is a lie. We are not. Black people have been isolated. If that wasn't the case, you would see you wouldn't only see churches and liquor stores in our community, too many. You'd see businesses, thriving businesses. So on the one hand, it reminds me of when I read the not autobiography, but it was about biography about Marvin Gaye. It was called Divided Soul. Man, that book, when the last last weeks of Marvin's life, when he was on the road, he would have a drug dealer in one room and have a minister in the other room, and he'd go back and forth between the two. And this is where, and that reminded me so much of how Black people have found themselves. And you know the picture I sent you with the black rat encased,
yeah,
and the little thing, and the man standing over him and feeding him through the little tube, but that's his whole world.
Exactly.
That's sort of like how we exist right now. And we got to find a way to get out of that too. And one way is to stop being fed the BS that's being fed to us. Okay, and create our own narratives. Yeah, that's the point I wanted to make. That we have to create our own narratives like our ancestors did. This is how they built what they built. They didn't have a whole lot, but they created their own society and narratives. And that society did not include other people. So with that, brother, I'll wrap it up.
Yes, brother. Thank you. Thank you so much. I didn't even see Master Glam come in. Master Glam, if you still want to come in, it says device not connected, but you did try to come in. Brother Neil Frazier, you do have to go, so we'll let you go. I'll hang around for a second to see if Master want to come in, because I know she'll follow up, with some really good words.
Master Glam. Yeah, right. Okay.
Yes.
Right on.
So try once again, Master Glam, if you're still here. Let me see. I had walked away to get a little bit of water for a second, but brother, once again, it's been an honor and a pleasure. You're doing a good work and changing the minds and subconscious minds of our people. Most of us here get it, but there are people out there that sit by the sidelines and don't come in, and those are the ones that we want to reach. Now, Master Glam is in. I just want to give her opportunity to say something to you before you go, but we'll stay here as long as it takes for her to get her point across, because she's fabulous also. Go ahead, sister.
Yes. Greetings.
Hello, Brother Frazier. How are you?
Glam. Great. Good to see you.
Always nice to hear from you. Always nice to see you.
Yes.
Always nice to hear the information that you have for our community.
Right on.
And I actually wanted to talk about I wanted to refer to some of the things that you spoke on.
Okay.
Because it really will take us being patient with our community, being patient with each other, and then also being consumers of each other.
Yes,
actually
that's a good
supporting
terminology.
our
I like that.
businesses.
I like that. What do you
Yes,
think is one
actually.
of, what do you think are some of the things that are preventing us from doing that?
Well, I would say that Black people always want to complain about customer service. That's one thing that
Yeah,
I
yeah, you're
hear a
right.
lot about.
Me too.
But one thing that I know is that even though those Black people who complain about customer service, they might have a bad experience, let's say at Walmart, Target, or McDonald's,
Uh-huh.
and later on they're gonna forget about that experience and they're gonna go back to that store. But I feel like a lot of times when it's Black businesses, we're a little bit harder on them and we're
There you
not as
go.
forgiving. So that's one big thing is that we're not as forgiving to our own people. We
Bingo.
critique them a lot harder. We hold them
Yeah.
to a higher standard
Yes.
versus a chain store that has so many other stores, and so they have so much more help and you know s- products, and sometimes our community might not have it. Sometimes we have to be a little bit patient
That's
with
right.
our people, and
That's right.
sometimes we're not.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're not. So that's
Yeah.
that's one of the big things. That's one
That's
of
a
the big
very
things.
good
And
point
then
you made. That's a very good
and
point
then
you
also and then also with us supporting each other, it's really to keep the money within the community. That's
exactly.
that's the real that's the real purpose of it.
Yes.
But it seems like some of our people, they would rather have name brands,
Mm-hmm.
you know, uh rims on their cars, big tires and whatever else,
Mm-hmm.
versus putting a business in their community, or hiring people within their community if they already have a small business, investing in that business to create like a little legacy for their family. A
And
lot of us don't do that.
yeah, to piggyback on what you just said, see, we have to, we are always basing everything based on other people's standards. If you just like our young people, they like cars with big rims, like you just said, and big tires. Why don't you open a tire shop in the community? Open a tire shop. Don't just ride around and buy these big rims and tires and spend all this money. Open a rim shop. But we've got to get back to basics. So the reason why a lot of our people don't do this, and people coming from other cultures do this, just like things like the beauty supply business, is that we're being taught by this system that in order for you to be successful, you have to go through their institution. You have to be in some high position in order to be. No, that's not how the majority of businesses in this culture, in this society, are small businesses. That's the backbone. And we don't have enough Black small businesses in order for that to happen. So that's a very good point, Master Glam.
Oh my
And
God. And brother Neil, I have to thank you. And I know people in the chat are gonna thank you and already did thank you for exposing some of the stuff that was going on at the bank. Because a
oh yeah.
lot of us we were not hip to that. We were
Mm-hmm.
not hip to that. And to find that out, it's honestly, I don't even see it as a negative. I see it as a positive. And
Mm-hmm.
I see it as a way for me to go search for funding for my business.
Right.
I'm gonna make friends with people at the bank and find out, what's a better option to do X, Y, Z. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, these are the type of things that they do. We don't have a lot of businesses, and even if we do have a business, sometimes we don't have money to employ people. We might not have money for marketing, to do the business like how we want to do it. But yet these other people, they come here and they can easily do some of these things. I
Yes.
know some of them do group economics and stuff like that, but not all of them. Not
No.
all of them do group economics. And, some of us, our people were born here, their families were born here, and they still can't have a lot of the
Exactly.
opportunities that other people have.
Exactly. And what you were referring to is this is a concept that Black people don't seem to understand or get. You have to have seed money to start anything. So this is why these people that come from other countries, they put all their seed money together to build one thing, and then one thing becomes two, and then two becomes three. But this concept that they have put in Glam, you're making some very good points here. But the people that come here, they're not worried about titles. They're not worried about how they look. They look at the opportunity that you have to build a business and to change the trajectory for your family for generations. But again, we don't look at this that way. We are taught to be independently wealthy, which none of us are. And that is a bold-faced lie that keeps Black people divided. And also,
that's what I was gonna say. It's all to keep us. It's all to keep us apart.
Yes, it is. It is. So, and also the point you made about service. I often say that we don't give each other a chance, and you are correct. You are so correct about this. And a lot of times, because I had a friend some years back. I was doing some things with him. He was in the shipping business. And a lot of times what happens to small Black companies like his is that they have delays from these companies that affect them a whole lot more. And then, you know, he's losing money because they deliberately slow up the delivery time, or they'll say they don't have these products in-house or in inventory, or they'll change something that you would normally get in 2 days or a week to take a month to get. And so these are the games that they use to cripple small Black businesses. And this happens to businesses in other jurisdictions as well. But this is why Black people get frustrated. And this is why that point you made is so important. Okay, you might go into a Black business and the service is not good. But this is what you do. You go to the owner of that business and you say, look, can you have the employees, can you have a training session for employees to learn how to present themselves more better to people? Because a lot of our young people, mainly our young girls or women, if you go to some place where they're working, it's like they have such a bad attitude. And I'm like, where does this come from? And when you go into small Black businesses, you might have to wait an extra 10, 15 minutes. But like you said correctly, our people complain, whereas I've been in places where it took 30 minutes for me to serve. And we'll be like, oh, this looks so good, this plate of food or whatever. But we're willing to wait. But you go into a Black place, first thing you'll say, oh man, I knew this was going to happen. You know, coming up with all these complaints. So we have to give each other a chance. And these problems are built into business operations.
Yeah, that's definitely the key to it, is giving each other a chance. I wish more of us did, but we definitely do, because as a small business owner myself, I've been to like lots of different pop-up shops down here in South Florida, all the
Okay.
way from Miami to Broward, and a lot of the small business owners are supportive. You know, they'll give you the shout outs, do the videos and stuff like that, and do the tagging and all that kind of stuff, even do the purchasing. So I do see that they do help out a little bit. And I know that our people have their own culture, so I don't want anybody to think that, you know, I'm saying that, oh, people with the rims and stuff like that, you know, they need to do more, or they shouldn't do that, because I know that's our unique culture. And that's what makes Black people. And people love us,
Exactly.
clearly. When you're loved, people are gonna bother you. But I just like you said, open up a tire shop. Keep it professional. Do whatever it is to contribute to the community. And then we have the people that lead the community.
Yeah, we had a little static on your end, Master Glam, and you kind of blacked out.
Man, you made some really great, valid points, Brother Lance. And
Yes,
with
indeed.
that, say thank you, brother. Thank Master
Yes.
Glam. I can say Master Glam. She's a glamorous sister. So I like the play on words there.
Master
Like
Ball Glam.
a clam. You know mess up. So you guys take care, and thank you, Brother Lance. And I look forward to talking with you again.
Yes, indeed, brother. Have a good evening. And I'll be waiting for that message. Okay, take care, brother. All right.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. And Master Glam, if you want to continue to make some points, feel free.
Yeah, I just have a couple of points.
Sure.
When we support each other more versus when we support, these brands and Versace and all this other stuff, like our community will do a lot more better. We really have to support each other more versus, all these other brands that don't even like us. They don't even respect us. They don't really want our money. They treat us poorly. Even people who are employed there are treated poorly. They're paid less than other people. So why do we have to shop with them?
It's a low
and then also
self-esteem. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
And then also, we're easily broken, which this might be close to what you're about to say, is that we're easily broken because we are broken. We're broken as in divided. We can't come together because we're individually. A lot of us are broken, so we don't have enough love for ourselves to have love for the next person. So that's one of the big major things. We have a whole lot of healing to do. And it just takes for us to recognize this. And like brother Neil said, it's for us to continue to plant those seeds like we're doing right now. Continue to plant those seeds. I wish that people would do what he said and don't go to church. All the Black people don't go to church on Sunday, and see how affected this whole country would be if no churches. Just don't go to church this Sunday. Nobody.
You're right about that. I don't know if you're still talking, but you were breaking up, and now we don't hear you. They might come back in.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that at the beginning, but it just started. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we don't realize that, with us doing all this stuff, we're slaves. We're actually really slaves to work, slaves to mortgages. We can't enjoy our home. We have this home, we're paying thousands of dollars to live in it, and the upkeep of it, insurance, and all that, and we can't even enjoy it. We don't really see that, we're really slaves. A lot of us are going to keep on working literally until we die. So those are just some of the points that I wanted to say, because from what Brother Neil was saying, it just really coincided with what I was thinking. And also it was so funny, like what he was saying earlier, talking about the animals and stuff like that. Like I really feel like we're all spiritually connected, because earlier today, I don't know why, it came up on my phone and it was asking about like spirit animals, like what's your spirit animal? So I like looked up my spirit animal, and it said that I was like a sea turtle or whatever, and it meant that I guess because turtles, like, they go within, so it says that I seek wisdom and knowledge and peace. And I'm spiritually inclined and stuff like that. So it's just so funny how connected we are, and so many of us, like, we miss this connection, we miss like this love that that we have to share with each other. And I hope that we can continue to plant these seeds so that our people can wake up and, just start doing a little bit more so that we can start to change the families, the face of the Black family, and then the children will change, and then generations will change. This is a seed that you're planting now, you guys, and then later on, later, when you're not here, when your kids, who is actually you, your children and their children, they will experience the fruits of your labor. That's where it counts, you guys. So that's all I wanted to say, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You always, wow. I'm just so glad to be in your presence. Beautiful sister. Master Glam, going to her beauty salon is like going to Mecca. You don't even have to go inside. You just stand in front and look in the window and you get 25% more beautiful just by being there. That's how awesome she is. You don't like to talk the craziness. But anyway, yeah, it's a thing. And I'm gonna wrap it up after this. Yeah, it's a thing of low self-esteem also, because if you look back, for those of us who are connected to the whole slave lineage, when I say that, people will say, oh, well, it's not me. It didn't come that way. Well, okay, no problem. But you're in the same society that I'm in, and you're affected by that. That's like being in a trash can after washing up and putting on your best clothes, perfume and cologne, and coming out of it and saying, well, I smell good, but you were hanging out in the trash. It's rubbed off on you. So if you came by a slave ship or you were indigenous or whatever you want to call yourself, it's on you. I don't want it to be on you. But if you look back into slavery, we compared our value according to the slave master that had us. If we were talking to others, and we're not slaves, first of all, those who were enslaved, Black people, and we were speaking to one somehow, some way they got mixed up, some way they did a group project or whatever. They had adjacent plantations or whatever. And one slave master was a little more wealthier than the other. Well, guess what? He feels better about that. Well, my master owned 10,000 acres and he has mansions and he has all these slaves. So he's more mightier than yours. And that slave is branded with the master's name. And the other one, that one may only have 4 acres of land and one small shack to live in. And so he doesn't feel as good. And so when he gets sold off to another master that has much more, all you could hear is the theme from the Jeffersons. Yeah, we're moving on up. I mean, really and truly, I understand in society what that means, but really dig to see what that really means. When you hear that song and how happy they were to move to the east side and to the deluxe apartment in the sky, that's that. I'm gonna say it like that. That's that slave shit, because it's the same oxygen. It's the same soil, even though you're in the air. In what parts of the earth are better than the others? Now, yes, I'd rather be where it's warm. I'd rather be where there's vegetation and Mrs. Scurv can grow a grocery store in the backyard. You know what I mean? I'd rather that. But really, what part? Who decided that? Who decided that? And then we follow through with that. The branding on our flesh, so that if we run away, the next slave master would know where to bring us back. If your name was Johnson or Murphy or whatever it may have been. Oh, you're O'Brien slave. I see it branded on you. But now we don't have brands, but they call it brands now when it's in a store. What brand are you looking to buy? You want to move on up, so you want to have the better brand. You got the Michael Kors bag. You don't have that little ghetto bag that was sold on the side of the sidewalk with no name to it. Damn near plastic and vinyl. Doesn't thing, but you have more self-esteem boosted when you have, a bigger, more advertised brand where you can put your nose up in the air, and certain stars wear this brand and you just want a little piece of it. And this is why they came out with the baby Benz. You couldn't buy the big one. That was too big of a thing. So they sold you the little Benz 190. Remember those from back in 88, 89? The baby Benz. So you have a piece of the dream. So when you're driving and you're looking up front on the hood, you see that badge. Look at that, a badge, just like with the police, the badge. You know, you must respect the badge. The only way you can get respect is if you wear the badge. So you want to become a cop or whatever. Okay, it's noble too, but you got to understand the history of it. We want to be just like Massa. But how much friendly fires out there when they know who you are and they shoot you and you're on their side, supposedly. It's all twisted up. Yeah, but we want to be branded. Well, is that a good brand? Well, that's an expensive brand. And then we feel better when we have our hands on it. I've seen guys take the subway or the bus to the daggone club, and on the keychain, they have a Mercedes-Benz or Jaguar keychain, a key holder, and they're shaking it. And when they sit down at the bar with their rent money rolled up, they don't want to spend too much of it. And they put that keychain down, and the young ladies look and say, oh, wow, he has a Mercedes-Benz, whatever. So they're more likely to go with him, and he can lie about it. Well, you know, my car is in the shop, baby, you know. Can't go to his house because he lives in his mama's basement, right? So there's a lot of things passed down that we throw off on each other with. And we should reject all of this stuff and not see ourselves by the divisions. Like I said, the difference of culture and nationality, we should all celebrate those things as melanated people because we're all over the world. What you think? If we took everybody else off the planet, we would still have nationality. We would still have different culture because we're living in different climates. So there's going to be different foods and different ways of doing things and different languages. But when I'm around Black folks and they start laughing, no matter what the language is, it's a vibration. Like earlier today, we were in there and I was telling jokes all through me being at the dentist. So we were laughing and talking, and they were saying things in Tree, the native language here. There are other languages here, but here in Ghana. And I said, what'd you say, man? And they translated. I was laughing right along with them. You know what I mean? So it's a universal thing. So we gotta celebrate even the differences in each other. Well, there's no major difference, but just the language or the culture, the foods. Come on, y'all. How many of y'all have, now we know McDonald's is junk food. I'm just going to use this as an analogy. You run up at McDonald's, you eat something tomorrow, and tomorrow you're eating Jamaican jerk chicken. And then you're eating a unique dish from Haiti or something from Trinidad, eating some doubles or what. You know what I mean? So we shouldn't let those things divide us. We should make it amplify us. You see what I mean? And bring us together as almighty. Because where you are as a melanated person, that's where I am. I should have free pass into that culture and welcome into that culture and celebrate it. And I celebrate that culture, which is an extension of me. And I'm learning it. I don't know. It's just like when you go to in a family reunion and you see a distant cousin that you heard of, but you never met him before. And the family reunion might be over or continue the next day. And later on that night, you break out with that cousin and they say, hey, come over to my crib. Let me show you, and you say, wow. And you feel good because this is your family. Now we know all family is not all good. I'm just saying if it was that way. And we do have family that are good. And so when you're in that house of your cousin, in a sense, you feel a sense of ownership of it. Like it's not yours. You haven't been paying for it, but it's like, wow, this is my cousins. This is my brothers. This is my sisters. If anybody's ever close to this place, it's me. There's nobody closer because I'm related to the person who owns this place. I'm related to the people out here who have restaurants that make nice food, who do nice things. And if I happen to go to South Africa, a lot of white folks down there, but the people who are mine, if I happen to go down to Grenada, if I happen to go even to Russia and find Black folks out there, even though there's white folks all around us, we get together, we have that vibration, the planet, the whole planet. So that this separation business branded by somebody else who laughs at us because we flock to the brand and the name, and then we feel a certain way over the next person. No, why don't we make our own names? You know what I mean? I mean, if I had, when I have, or if it's to be that way, I'll put the SCURV brand on there, right? And I'll sell it to all of my people just above cost. Everybody else, they got to pay. You know what I mean? So you got a nice brand with nice quality materials. And if you can prove to me that you're one of us, you're getting it at just above cost. Everybody else is, oh, I want to wear this. Well, you're going to pay. There's all kind of ways of doing things. You see what I mean? But we got to think of ways to come together as, accept this whole thing of being separated. And you know what? The sad part, the way we're going, it seems like the majority is going to stay that way. But we don't have to stay that way within our own. We don't have to stay that way. We can be a subdivision within the division, and we start from there and let it balloon out generation after generation, the way Master Glam said. That's the only way to do it. Oh, thank you, D. Griffin. Thank you so much. I'm not here to rip nobody off. It's a mind thing. It's a legacy thing. You have people on YouTube rip people and do all that stuff. But what's going to be left of their name when they're gone? How's it going to make people feel when they're gone? Will they be proud of it just like it's theirs? Because everybody should feel as though it's theirs. That you don't have to put money into the company to feel that you have ownership. That something was made for you and made by a black man or a black woman or a black couple or a family, melanated, copper-colored, wide nose, kinky hair, whatever you want to call it, even if your nose ain't wide, you part of the family. That this is ours, but everything we have has been hijacked. The music, the culture, everything. Let them know this thing here is what it is. That's why I never turn my face and anything against, this is first, I'm black first. I'm black first. So if you like my artwork, you like the stuff we talk, it's from that view. I understand it's a wider world out there. I try to understand the wider scope so I can convey my message to a wider base. But this is where it's coming from, because it's often misrepresented. It's often misrepresented, so badly. It's a terrible thing. We got to get other people to tell our story. That's crazy. That we feel that we have to get other people to get stuff out there. And the things that we say straight out of our mouth is dismissed. And it is shadow banned and pushed to the side. No, it's too strong. No, we don't want them to hear this from their own people. It has to be filtered through us. This is why they try to infiltrate every single thing that we do and minimize it or just tweak it a bit so it doesn't sting the other people and it doesn't hit us the way it should hit. See, when we speak to each other, we know the spirit, we know the feel of how we're talking, and it hits home. They don't want it to hit home. They want to put a limiter on it. Like when you buy a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or any car from Germany and bring it straight over here and bypass them putting the limiter on it, it's better having it without the limiter because it goes a little faster. But when you buy those cars here, they automatically put something on it that keeps it from going as fast. This is why black media is important. But most media out here is not black media. It has been compromised. They will purchase it, tweak it, and put black faces up in front, and you feel so good because this is a black platform. No, investigate what platforms out there are really and truly going to be bold and uncut, uncensored. You see? And when you are, they try to shadow ban you. So you have to go to other platforms like Patreon or go to your own site. But we don't have video sites that can handle the load. So we have to go to other things, podcasting, this and that. Hell, if things get that bad, I get on a milk crate on the corner and use my bullhorn and get other people to talk. But that's what they do. How many platforms out here are compromised? How many platforms out here are branded secretly with somebody else's brand on it to limit us from really telling it like it is? Back in the 60s, back in the 70s, I remember as a young boy, people talking, telling it like it is. Black radio, all types of black radio, any time of the day that you wanted to get on and hear one of your own talk about the issues that deal with us as a community, locally, statewide, citywide, national, worldwide, you can do it. See, had Like It Is with Tony Brown, Like It Is, and then you had Tony Brown's Journal, Black News, the McCreary Report. You had all kind of things in the 70s. They had something called Black News. You think they would say something like that now? Everything has to be multicultural. What has to be multicultural? The Jews don't have to be multicultural. The Asians don't have to be cultural, but if you stick something black in there, we got to be multicultural. We have to be compromised. And if it's multicultural, they get a chance to say what they have to say first, and they put you on the back when everybody's sleeping and wanting to go out the door and go to eat something. Peep the game. That's why you have to be relentless in what you do as somebody who is melanated. And there's so much of a war against black. Yes, the word black. Hey, we said it. We were proud. You make the name what it is. You make the name what it is. You know, when you're growing up in the neighborhood back in the day, and you had a family where all the kids were nice and polite, mannerable, went to school, and you know, we all thought it was all about college. I'm not knocking nobody with that, but they went on to get good jobs and raise good families, and it's not a bad thing. But we always had that family in the neighborhood where the majority of them was bad. Most of the brothers were going to jail, and you see them, you're scared, they're going to rip you off. They might have had one nice sister, but the basic name was bad. Oh, man. They made the name what it was. These white folks come out here and they make a brand and throw some commercials and keep putting it in your face, and you start thinking, oh, this is something good to have. And it wins the kids over. They get brainwashed. Mommy, I want this. Mommy, I want that. You have friends remember red bottom shoes. What the hell is red bottom shoes? So what? Everybody going crazy over red bottom shoes. Come on now. And maybe it was one of us that made it. I don't know. But when we do something, they take it, they market it, they make it theirs. They associate themselves with that name and they get rid of you. So cut out the middleman. Let's really see what's black owned. It's important to us. And we say it, we're militant and we're radical and we're hateful and we're racist. But when they say it, it's keeping business in the family. Isn't that a damn thing? When the Jews do it, we expect them to do it. But how come they don't want us to do it, and they don't expect us to do it because they know our minds are all messed up? But I can't even say that. Y'all may not see me for a week after seeing this. Oh, we're going to ban you again. What? I can't say that when it's so evident and truthful right in my face. All these years I've been living. You can't brainwash me. You can't brainwash my mind. I'm that nigga that got away. They tried everything in this lifetime. Maybe I am living a normal life or an average life, meaning that I'm no threat, but I have it in my mind. Maybe I may not be a multimillionaire. Maybe that might be not the reason I'm supposed to be here. If they didn't attack me so much, I know I would have been a lot higher, but I'm not going to worry about that. I do have talent, and we have to applaud each other and ourselves for the abilities and talents that we have, but applauding ourselves is not enough. Keep it in the family. If we can't grow it amongst ourselves, they ain't going to get it. Oh, we'd like to give you $100,000. I can make that in a year. I'd like to make that in a month or a week. But we get open. But we see a little cash and then run with it and make this. You can't have a damn say-so over it because they bought you out. Stop selling out. We got to stop selling out. I'd like to make a list of all the black brands really and truly owned. We need to put a certain percentage of our spending to them, each other. Doesn't mean that you got to take all your money, right? But if you think I want to buy a nice handbag, find somebody black that will sell it to you direct. Show it to your friends. Yes, and the responsibility of those making it's got to be quality. We can't take no shorts just be, oh yeah, you black, you're gonna pass. No, don't sell me something shabby. Show me some love. You talk about black unity, show me some love. Put some detail into what you make. Communicate with the customer. Are you satisfied with what you have? Black gyms where we work out. Weights don't have no color on it. Why can't we have a spa in a gym neighborhood? How far do we have to go work out? Right? Put our money toward that. That should be in our neighborhood anyway. Like Brother Neil Frazier says, metamorphosis, all the money that goes into the black church and goes out. Why don't we have a community center for our children so that they don't have to sit up on the corner next to the drug dealers that shouldn't even be there? The drug dealers shouldn't even be there. They should have an opportunity to earn or be trained in a trade and go do what they do. And make a little upfront money that looks good, and then they have to go pay off the lawyer. They don't say to the lawyer, you can't take this money because this is blood money. All of a sudden, after it gets out the drug dealer hand, that money is legit. But it's never legit in our hands. And we don't see the game. Better to make a little less, team up with your brothers and sisters and make something happen. Where are our community centers? A community to be at every church. Decked out, nice, 24/7, free, because we contributed to that, which will help our health. It'll help our mentality because there's people there that we know. I know when I was doing bodybuilding and going to the gym every day, I had no major issues. I had no issues. I was pretty much all right, but it was a joyous place to go. I was getting my body in shape, super shape. We're laughing and we're joking and we're fellowshipping. A lot of times when we finish with the workout, we're out there for an hour or two talking and laughing. The owner gave me the key to the place. He let me run the place. I got to paid a few dollars to do so, but it wasn't about that. He said, listen, I can stay up here with y'all. He'd take the key. He trusted me. He was a white man, right? But he saw the camaraderie. And sometimes we stay there till 3, 4 in the morning. He's like, if you're going to stay that late, let's open it up in the morning. Just hang out till 5. But why can't we do that in our neighborhood? What overhead does Weights have? Right? You get a juice bar to sell something healthy. You have an alternative. You may not even be a member of the gym, but you know something good is in there. You driving by, getting ready to come out of the club, and you, man, I ain't gonna eat that trash over there at that all night place. I'm going over there and get me a little salad and get me one of them sweet, tasty protein shakes with the juice and the mango, and I'm gonna go on in the bed. And you supporting the community center, and that helps them to do stuff for the children in the neighborhood. Right? Recycle your money in your community. And it doesn't mean your community has to just be around the corner. You can be somewhere else in another country. You can be somewhere else in another state. We have to see ourselves that way and see and trace the money where it goes. And we need to be transparent. We're owners of these businesses. We need to be transparent. Of course, you make build your house and build up your bank account, but where are you spending your money? How many boule business owners do we see out here that take your money and bring it right to the same enemy that's going to destroy you? We don't want no boule people, you fake behind people. We want the real people. We want the blue collar people. Even if you do have money, it doesn't always mean you're boule, but have a real interest in the community instead of this posturing to make it seem like you're down with us because you throw a few turkeys or a dance or some kind of raffle or whatever, but you're gone most of the time. You're gone most of the time because you're serving your master. You serving Jesus and he's serving that banker and bringing your money to the banker. Ain't that a damn? And find out the root of it, because there are a lot of white businesses out here and there are a lot of other businesses out here that employ us and people who look like us, but at the root, the bulk of the money is not going back into our community. That's a ploy. It's done out here. I'm going to hold my little camera and go do a little, I'm going to show you. I don't have to look for it. They must be paying these teenagers next to nothing because they don't even get mad when 5 of them are standing, leaning up, talking and laughing, twerking. Then you go to the next hour, they're laughing or whatever, and they're on their phones. And when you ask them something, they look mad at you like you're breaking up the party. And the owners walk on through, whether it's Asian or Lebanese or Turkish or UK white folks, they don't care. They're to show you overwhelmingly that this is a black business. And if you don't look really who's up in that office, you'll swear it is. And they're playing African music and sometimes a little R&B and hip hop when they see too many Americans or UK folks come in there. I'm not a fool. And they're sitting there fooling you. And you come in there, oh man, I'm so impressed. Hey, first time I went to some of these supermarkets, I was impressed. I was like, wow, man, they got it going on. They playing the African music. They got black people employed in here, young black people employed in here. But the young black people, not all of them, but a lot of them are brainwashed. Most of they want here, most of them, they'll settle for the top of the line cell phone. That's their Cadillac. That's the epitome of existence. Not for all of them, but so many of them. You see my walking to the I'm not going to say lower markets, but is where the poor people sell their stuff. And a lot of brothers out here have no opportunity. And they sell these cell phone cases and cell phone accessories because so many people are into the cell phone. They're not saying to themselves, let's get together. In Africa, we're already born here. We'll get land cheaper. Let's go and take 5 years. Let's 10 of us get together, 10 of us, and we share 1/10 of the cost of that land and build an Airbnb and get somebody in there who can cook real good. Get somebody in there that works at a white hotel, a Turkish hotel, Lebanese hotel that runs the place and run that place. And we'll live there for a little while we live there and build up and save up without having to pay no rent. You know, live there. We don't have to live in the lap of luxury right now. Throw some mattress or something on the ground and let's live there, you know, and keep it bare and save our money. And when we do, we'll do another one and another one and another one, like everybody else does, right? I remember seeing the East Indians come, you know, and the Guyanese Indians coming to Richmond Hill. It's like they designated that area, just like you have the Jews over there in Crown Heights and the other area where you have the Hasidic Jews. They took it over. They'll make you feel bad when you're walking down a public street that they don't even own. But everywhere you look, you see their businesses. And that's what happened with the Indians over there. That's why they call it Little Guyana, Richmond Hill, Queens, which is right next to Jamaica. But we were forced to look at ourselves like strangers over there in Richmond Hill. Now it's South Richmond Hill. That meant nigger Richmond Hill on the edge. So that's why I say Jamaica, because that's the black side on the other side of the Van Wyck Expressway. We needed to target certain areas. We're all over the cities in America. We need to target certain areas and own the buildings there. We need to, even if it is called a hood. Look, white folks gentrify hoods and go in there and make it so nice and expensive that you can't even afford to be there. Hey, man, I grew up over here, man, but look at it now. It's so nice. It's by design. It's not by chance. We need to target certain places. Wherever you are, if you are in New York City, target an area. All the black out there, it's a whole lot. So that means we can take it over. If you're in Chicago, if you're in Detroit, if you're in Atlanta, pick a suburb, enough black people in Atlanta, but really make it where it's just y'all. And you have black business in there undergirding it, and you live there where you work. And you have your black schools and your black supermarkets. Not no imposters coming in, hiring a few black faces, and they hide in the office in the back. You want a so-called a beauty supply or whatever? You know, don't buy from them. If you're going to do it, buy it from us. Why don't we talk about these things? But nobody, it's a threat to somebody because all the money they get out of us, they can't have that. Just like they wrote Memorandum 46, we can't have the black folks in America team up with the black folks in Africa. Too much resources out there. Too much. We can't have that. They'll be empowered. We can't have Lance's videos going out there. And not only that, he proved it to everybody. He moved out there. He's living out there. We gotta shut that nigga down. We can't have too many black folks doing like that. That's why they got some boule black folks out here to watch people like me, right? And they got some boule black folks to monitor, to go back and tell what's going on. See? You want to put fear in your heart. They're circulating the video where, oh yeah, in Cape Coast, they tore down this. There's more to that story than me, CI. Fear mongering. Well, I ain't gonna go out there. I come out there and speak. They're gonna tear my stuff down. Well, my stuff is super legit. Mr. Scurv and I are super legit on paper. And they come with something like that, they better be ready to they better be ready to, I'm telling, I ain't gonna say it. They'll shut the thing down. There are laws everywhere. But they do this, but see, look. They can circulate something like that. I must have received that bad boy at least 2,500 times from people I don't even know that even say nothing to me that's on my pages. Because you know on Facebook and certain social media, you don't know everybody on there. But if I said, hey, Lily Vegan's a YouTube page needs to have 1,000 subscribers so she can live stream, and you get 40 or 50 people that came on or whatever. Come on. We're not into the fear mongering. We're in here to win it. We're going to do it. And even if it doesn't go and spread out and whatever, our children will get it and it'll mushroom out and pyramid out that way. But anything that's going to benefit us, they're there to snuff it down. Anything that's good about us, they're there to keep you from hearing it. Anything that can make us money, they're going to be quiet about it and throw us the crumbs afterward when the market is saturated. We need to be pioneers. We need to step out of our comfort zone. We need to go beyond this thing that suspends us. Yes, we do have YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all these other things out here. We need to take that sword and chop their neck and chop their grasp and their hold in the shackles that they have on us and chop it off. We can use it, but let's not use it to the point where it paralyzes us. Let's not use it to the point where whole days go by and that's all we're doing, not thinking on our own. That's why we were speaking, Master Glenn, about how it's good to be bored sometime. Because when you're bored, ingenious things happen. But you know, in the Christian church, they say, an idle mind is the devil's playground. They want you to believe that. An idle mind, that's where the greatest inventions, I don't mean idle where because your brain never stops thinking. That's how you dream. What did you go to bed and push a cassette in your head? I'm going to dream this tonight. Your brain never stops working. Program it to work in a way where it benefits you. You see what I mean? Program it. It's already proven that right before you go to bed, if you put something in your mind, it will stick better. But if you fall asleep with the cell phone in your hand and it falls to the ground, it's always been proven too that what you read out of a book sticks more than just what you see from a screen. So mix it up. You can pick up and do things faster, but do it limited. Do it as much as you need and get off of it. And stop clogging up your mind with so many things. We need our minds. Our minds are powerful. They don't want us to use our minds because they know that we have the greatest minds on the planet. When that sun hits our brain and activates our pineal gland and we're out in nature and our feet are in the ground, that is a high that you will never know unless you do that. See, I'm at 0 latitude and 0 longitude. When I finally settle in, there's going to be great things coming out of me. See, we too many times we convince ourselves of what we can't do. Oh, I'd like to do that, but I don't have enough money yet. You done told yourself, you done program yourself that, oh, you need money to do this. You don't need money all the time to do certain things, to move forward, to research, to plan, to reach out to people who are already doing the damn thing. They may turn around and say, hey, I like that idea. Come down and meet me in my office. Let's plan on something. And you thinking you ain't got no money. And they got the finances to manifest that dream. And you can sit down and cut up how you're going to divvy it out. And you take most of the profit. You think that we have $1 million to move out here to Africa? I got regular money right now. They ain't got no money. The big money, that stuff is blown. It's gone. That lump sum is gone. I'm here now. I want to be here, but it's happening. And I'm programming in my mind for great things to happen. And I'm very enthusiastic about it. And like I said, I will not fail. I'm not going to fail. Too many people, oh, where you go? You sure you want to go out there? You sure you can make it out there? You sure them people ain't going to just lynch you and the snake's going to bite you and the lion's going to, come on, man. Come on. And I'm not saying this is the greatest place in the world for people who are so enthusiastic, because the minds of many of the people here are clogged up and trapped up with the religion, with the white Jesus, with the limitations, feeling as though that what they have here is not good enough. That to America, we running from America and they want to run to America. But in all the running, right? Because I didn't run here, I desired to come here. But for those who are running from place to place, what are you running into? Because you think the oppressor has it good for you and wants the best for you? You believe those Colgate smiles on the commercials on TV? What's wrong with you? That's just a trap. You ask anybody who lives in America and who is considered middle class if you can say that. And you got to damn near work 2 jobs. That sounds like poverty to me. That's not middle class. You shouldn't be so bad if you call yourself middle class, but that's diminishing. The American dream is a nightmare. It's been sucked out off of our backs. And now they'll throw us a few little, let me tell you something. They just might come through with something for reparations. Guess what? After the dollar crashes or right before, look, the minute they give us reparations, you better hurry up and get the hell on up out of there, invest in something, do something that will make you more money. Because with a dollar bill that's not backed by gold, you just got a piece of paper. And all these BRICS nations out here joining up together and getting their currencies together to be backed up by gold, but you don't want to hear that. Most of us don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that there's a submarine with nuclear capabilities off the coast of America right now. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear how Taiwan is surrounded by Chinese ships and planes flying over. So if they make a move, America with its broke self and a diminishing economy is going to go over there and do what? You ain't got no money. How you going to go shopping if you ain't got no money? How you going to go to the party to buy, go shopping to buy your shoes and your outfit? You don't have no money. America's broke because they're printing up money and it means nothing, because when it all hits down, it's like playing musical chairs. But in this game of musical chairs, there's 2 chairs and 32 butts. So you got so many butt cheeks that ain't gonna have a home, ain't gonna be able to sit down. It's really bad. It's really bad. I don't believe how people, and I'm not trying to scare anybody, because it's not too late if you redirect. And the only way out is for us to have unity, because you ain't gonna be able to do it on your own. Look, members that haven't talked to each other for a long time and did things with each other, well, guess what? You ain't gonna have but no choice. So you got 10 family members, brothers and sisters, aunts, cousins, whatever, and everything crashes, right? What you gonna do? Go out on the curb, or you gonna make that phone call? I know I ain't talked to you in 18 years, but I'm out here. Yeah, I'm doing bad. I don't have no food over here. I got the place. Well, listen, you come over and bring some of that money. We make some food. We'll live together. You should have damn been doing it. Why is it going to take this to make it? But you know what? This is a good thing. And when I say that it's a good thing, I don't want to see people suffer. And some of us here have enough to make do, but a lot don't, and don't realize that they don't have it. But it's a good thing. Well, is it going to take this for us to unify? Because I see all of these other races who have problems. They got problems and challenges within their families and stuff. When it comes to that money and making things on a collective level, they do it. They do it. They grin and bear it. They got family members that want to kill each other in some of them races, right? But they grin and bear it because they know they stand to survive and do good. Imagine you come into another country and you want to fuss and fight with your family members and divide up for them. That's to your demise. You see what I'm saying? Smart people, because you got some dumb black people that travel all over the world, man. And yeah, we're going to do this together and do that together. And they by themselves. Because they're effed up, ego, narcissism, all these things. The branding, like we said before. We feel we're better, or we're better with this secret group or whatever. There's a lot of it's out here. A lot of people secret handshake somebody in a circle, form an inner circle. It's reality. But see, the thing is, and they always say this thing, no man is an island, but you choose what island you have your people on. You don't have to let everybody in on your life. You better figure out who's in your corner, who's not in your corner. You better sit down and have that talk, because this system is not going to do anything to save you. Our unity and the love that's buried so deep, but it's encrusted with all of these other things in our head that are imaginary, we're going to have to get rid of that. We're going to have to get rid of that, because that's the only way we're going to survive. And it don't mean that it has to be just blood family members. Sometimes those are the worst. We just got to see each other's family and spirit. And if you don't have that same mentality, if you don't reach for that same level of discipline, you ain't family. Because there's a lot of people who will prostitute you with the words that we need to live together as one, but they looking to hustle you. You understand? So we have to have a discerning of spirits. I'm not talking the Christian stuff. I'm talking about that real thing that's real, that even the animals out in the so-called wild have. That's what keeps them. You ever see a cracked out cat that's stray? You ever see a squirrel that look like he's homeless? No. They've mastered the elements. They have the gift of discernment. They know how to survive. There are predators out there after them in the food chain 24/7, and they're just as cool as can be. But us as black humans, HUE-MAN, we all jacked up, stressed out, worried about the job. Oh God, if I lose this job, I won't be able to keep this Jaguar that I have. Why the hell you gotta have a Jaguar if you gotta be worried like that? Getting gray hair. Now, most of us get gray hair. We get wrinkles. We get older, yes. But why are you bringing certain things more on yourself? Unless you can handle it. Why are you trying to keep up with the next plantation's nigga to be branded? And I've got this. And you die and you leave things where the people you thought that were in your corner are just gonna fight over it and abuse it. You know how many times I saw people die off and the crackhead son or the crackhead daughter get a hold of it? There was somebody in my neighborhood 2 blocks away back in 1995, sold a house in Richmond Hill, Queens, which might have been valued at 100 and maybe almost $200,000 at the time, because that was before everything went up, because most of those houses now are $600,000 and $700,000, right? So sold it for $5,000. They pulled a Don King on the girl, had a suitcase, a little briefcase with $5,000 measly dollars. I mean, yeah, if somebody threw me $5,000 right now, it'll be a shock and a joy, because I would be able to do more of what I'm to do and what my lane is. I ain't going out to the club. I'm not buying no outfits. I'm not going out and smoke any crack. I'm not going to go to the hooker house and trick off and have sex. Get out of here. I'm too disciplined for that. I'd be more disciplined if I see that kind of money. And I will see that and so much more. But stop telling yourself you're less than people, less than other people, and have high expectations for others who don't look like you while they rip you off and sodomize you in your backside. Not just that, it's better they sodomize you in your backside. You know why? Because they got your head screwed up. Best you take it up the backside one time as opposed to being screwed over and sodomized in your brain for a lifetime. And we die and got to go get a collection plate. Ain't that a damn shame? That's reality. Damn, y'all can't tell I went to the dentist today, right? I don't know. I'm just born to run my mouth. I just want to get ready to ease on out of here. I'm going to lay down a little bit. I have a lot of medicine and, shots and stuff in my system, so I feel a little weird. I'm always sweating, but I'm really sweating now. So I'm going to lay down a little bit, and I have some work to do. Not much, but I'm going to lay down for an hour or two. I might get up and come back and do a live, because this live is for Brother Neil Frazier, my 6 o'clock or formerly 5 o'clock live I didn't do, but it overlapped into the time. So I said, let me give you a little fire to make up for that. And then we'll come back on again. I don't know what the topic will be, but you can always reach out to me. And don't feel free. Say, Lance, talk about this, talk about that. Text me on WhatsApp, send me an email, whatever. Just reach out, and just say, hey, I think we should talk about this, and share some of the videos and stuff. I don't mind. I'll get it maybe 2,000 times, but that's okay. Let's keep an active mental unity going on and awareness, so that we know what's going on, so that the other things that they try to hide from us, like this whole thing in Mississippi with the whole 3/5 of a human being type thing, all these things are going on in the world, and it's not good for us. And ain't nobody going out there talking about, oh, this is an outrage, whatever. And you march and march and march. We some marching fools. We should go back and audition for what's the movie there with the March of the Wooden Soldiers? We some marching fools. We're to march the souls out of our shoes. We're to march ourselves that we're numb in the soul. But that's all we do. They kill one of us, we march, and we have one of these fools, these plastic fools come in, one of these engineered leaders that they ordained to talk bad to them, and we feel good about it. We go back to business as usual. And the Asians are waiting in the mall for buying their hair and all this other stuff. And the athletes get money and get these big contracts and go right down to the Italian car dealerships, and everybody's keeping their money in their pocket. And they're not allowed to make any businesses. See, our neighborhoods, or even, like I said, we need to target fresh areas and buy up everything, and not just do it gradually. We need to reach out to some of these fools and call them out. We sitting here, a lot of us secretly, I'm not saying in this chat room, applauding Dwayne Wade on his decision to turn the little boy into a little girl. Dwayne Wade, you got some damn money. We don't want to hear about you getting your son's dick chopped off when he turned 18. I'm going to draw a picture about that too. I can't put it up on YouTube. It's crazy. This is what you're injured blatantly in our face. Do you see a Hasidic Jew doing something like this? No, they busy making babies. Them Jews in Brooklyn, they busy making babies. You better not have 2 and 3 kids. You better have 10, 15, 20. Because they know there's power in that. Because you don't have to go and go to get a job anywhere else. You have your business and you're employed there. Even if you don't get no pay, that's your business. You're feeding into your business. You pull everything into your community. You satisfy all the needs in the community. Do you think you're going to see a Hasidic Jew going uptown in Harlem or Washington Heights to get something done? We want to have some cakes catered, and we want to know how much it is. No, they would never do that. They're going to find some little old lady or some young girl who does that, and they're going to come together as a community, and they're going to make a bakery so that bakery can satisfy that community. Somebody's hearing this and don't like it. They're going to find some way to strike it, or you don't see me for a week, or what. That's what they're going to do. I don't care, because I didn't cuss. I said a few little words, but they don't like that. They put these people in front of you and allow their videos to go out so far. But you won't hear too much of stuff like this. Some of them are, but they will make sure to park your views. What good is a supermarket if you put the location out in the desert? Ain't nobody hanging out in the desert. They ain't gonna go there. Oh yeah, you can have your supermarket, Mr. Scurv. You can stock it with all the wonderful things inside there, but you damn sure won't have no foot traffic, and there's no community around you to support you. They do this on a cyber level. They have the technology. Just like the Bionic Man, we have the technology. We can rebuild him. But see, they scared when they know you ain't really getting no money. And you keep on doing this. What keeps them going? Why is he like this? You should have been discouraged. You should be retiring and sitting down at 60 years old. Chasing young girls. No, I'm not. You done sent enough with young girls to me that had all kind of AIDS and disease and stuff. You ain't gonna get me that way. I ain't stupid. So we got to know what it is we have to do. We have to know where our position is on the team of life in our community. And if you don't understand it, then you're not part of the community. Ain't just know I'm gonna give you a pass because you black. You better be ready to sacrifice. You better be ready to put that money aside and do what we need to do and stop being scared about money. Why are we scared when we talk about money in the black community and you run down to the damn pass and give him your last? And he rolling by you in a Rolls Royce drop top, brand new, and you on a bus stop, your kids hitting you, Mommy, what we gonna eat? All we got in the house is bread. Well, I'll see what I'll try to, and you go crazy. And all he's doing is keeping his side mistresses living in luxury, and the little boys that he's having suck his penis living in luxury. Come on now. And you'll turn your head to this, and he's a man of God, and I can't say anything. I'm going to say it. You'll feed me the information. Any of your churches in America, out here in Africa, feed me the information. I'm not going to say who sent it, and I'll do a show and call their name out. Dare me. I'll do it. And take pictures too. You there, act like you praying and hold the phone up and click, 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 click. Even if they're fuzzy, I know how to make them pictures look good. I do that. I'm 100% self-sufficient online. I edit, I write, I draw, I do the graphics, I do the talking, I do it all. Yeah, that's why they don't like me, because they can't have somebody pull away. Well, let me pull away and hurt his operation. No, everybody here is part of the operation. But if everybody left, I'm still the operation. I need y'all. I do. And just like I need you, I want you to need me. So use me righteously. Tell me what's going on. Lance, we need to break this story, man. They ain't I'll do it. That's what I'm here for. That's what I don't understand. You ain't got, look, you can remain anonymous. Feed me the information and I'll bring it out. And I'll put my face on it. What are they going to do? Find me up in the mountains in Africa? I'll be up at night waiting for them. With my green binoculars that can see in the dark. And I can put the cross threads on them. They ain't gonna risk that. And send a drone over too. I'll shoot that down too. I don't care. You got to get into the I don't care phase. It's like, you know what? We got to go for broke. We ain't got nothing to lose. What you got to lose? To sit there all subservient and controlled by these people? And we outnumber them worldwide? And you running around say you the minority? What you talking about? Well, yeah, well, us might. Stop saying that word. Replace minority with original. Let them know they come lately. It's how they come here last and they ruling over us like this. And worldwide, they are not the majority, because you cooped up in America and they play with the numbers and they split us up every kind of way. Well, they're Latino. Like Paul Mooney said, they're just Latinos and niggas who can swim. They got dropped off over there. You know, I found out that Black Cubans all come from Ghana in the central region of Ghana. So they're Ghanaians too. It's like a train that has a stop here and a stop there. They drop some off in Jamaica. They drop some off in Cuba. They drop some off in South America. Some were already over there because this is we're the original of the planet. We should not be arguing over that. They want us to argue over that. That's why they will put a Tariq Nasheed. Yes, I said his name. And they're going to say, oh, a foundational black. And half of the people running behind him are wasting the time. Wasting the time. Then you have the other ones. Oh, I'm indigenous. Of course we're indigenous. And we're split up too. And we're stupid. If we truly showed each other love, righteous, not no, oh yeah, we black, man, loan me $500 so I can run off with it. So I can smoke some crack. Oh yeah, we black, we need to be unified, but I'm gonna try to screw your wife when you ain't around. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking the real thing, the real ride or die thing. That's what I'm about, ride or die. If you ain't with that, that's gonna sort out so many people, and you will feel it if you're not that way in your spirit, because you'll be afforded something, and you'll be afforded breaks in this world on a divine level. I'm not talking about churchified stuff, but there is a force, there is a power. We didn't just put the mangoes and the watermelons here. Something, some force, some entity, some plan had it here. We're on a planet with the perfect climate, with water, with fruits, with vegetables. And it's somebody else, the Johnny-come-latelys that have come here and don't want to have this luxury that we have here. And they want to be set up as a God beside God and set up all these daggone stupid-ass religions that have us worshiping them. We need to submit to what nature is, and we cannot comprehend every single thing. There's no way. Waste our lives trying to comprehend. No, just submit to the natural laws. Submit to the herbs that you have to take to keep you from getting sick. Submit to that inner voice that you have, which tells you what's right and what's wrong, instead of you wasting a whole lifetime jumping between the white man's religions and us who are following and making up these things. They ain't got no time for that. Have you read the Bible? I have read the Bible from the front cover to the back. Well, your shit still stinks, right? You're still confused. You still can't keep your eyes off that girl's ass when she walks past you in the street. You ain't different than me. We need to focus our energy where we need to focus it, right? And if we don't do that, we are doomed. We are doomed. As much as of us are on the planet, as much as in Ghana here, it's a young population. The average age is like what, early 30s or 20, late 20s, something like that. They don't like that. They don't like that. Like I told the white man one time, I said, penis is a crayon and the world is a coloring book. Now, I didn't mean I'm going to go screw all the white women and bring black babies, but he knew I understood what it was all about. Oh, he flipped and got mad when I said that. Oh, you're going to get AIDS. No, they don't want you thinking right. That's why they want to get you in these schools. That's why I'm going to find the footage. There were two nuns walking down in the mall outside. I had the camera going on, and I screamed at them. They thought I was saying something good until they heard what was coming out of my mouth. You don't need to be here colonizing this country and brainwashing these people. This work, y'all are, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to do it. I'm not just going to be the one to just, talk. Yeah, you're right. I heard that too, Master Glam. We got to research these things and talk about these things and realize that this is a big planet and we are the most populous people here. We're the most powerful people here. We say it, but we don't understand it. We need to activate that. If we're out of control in their minds, which means we are ascending. See, they want to keep us captive, and we're limited in our thinking. We have to get his validation and approval. No, we don't need his approval. He needs our approval to stay here. See, even the sun don't want them here, right? And we sitting here, the sun is burning them out. They need you to work in the hot places and ship the money up and all the stuff so they can live in them cold places where they can survive. That's why they want to crossbreed with us. Yeah. And all them people want to come over here and do that. Just like the ones who are Asian coming over here and getting with black Ghanaian women because they can't have legally really all the way have the property. So they say, okay, I will go and get black woman in Africa and put my little Chinese penis inside of her and spray off Chinese sperm. And we wait a couple years and they will be half black and half Chinese, but they will have Chinese mind. And then we bring the other Chinese under they smart. They got patience. We think about, oh man, I can't wait to the party on Saturday, man. It's Wednesday, man. But Friday, we're going to get right. And you ain't think about nothing. And you wonder why we're in the condition we're in. It's 2023. See, you got to make moves. Like I said, Africa may not be for everybody, but you should have a relationship with some part of it. Yes, there is corruption here. Yes, there are brainwashed people here that some of them do not like us, but we have to make them like us by getting together and having some very important conversations to letting them know how they have been duped, how we have been duped, and think long term like the other people who are trying to take over the most delicious part of the world. You think I want to go to Iceland? You think I want to go to Russia? I don't never want to go to Europe. It's got to be somebody paying my way, and it's something they're going to pay me to do or something. Why I got to go to Europe? England. Got folks out here, oh, I've always wanted to go to Rome. I've always wanted to go to Italy and see the culture and see the history, but you don't want nothing to do with your own black ass. It irks me. Anyway, let me get ready to, when I'm going to take a nap. I may or may not wake up in 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, because I didn't have much sleep last night. We're going to roll with it, but we are going to do some good stuff. I have a ton of footage over here, walking and talking and just random things and beach clips and stuff like that. When I wake up, I'll start working on it, and I'll just probably hide my face, and my face looks the same. I'm just saying, I feel funny. I feel numb in my mouth, and that's why I'm using a little more aggression. Plus, anyway, like I said, I'm going to rest a little bit, and we'll get back together again. And just know that I love you all, and I live this. I think about this 24 hours. This is what I'm all about. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing different. You know, the same thing I did over there in America. Yes, Brother Leo, I see you here, brother. It's nice. Like I said, you know, when things get going, we're going to power and have some ideas. You know, I may not have 100 years in this plan, but the power of my ideas, some real stuff. Once I'm settled, some sincere stuff, let's see how it can work and start out small and let it balloon up. Let it balloon up and let the next generation take it over. And that'll be my legacy to leave. You know what I mean? So I'm working feverishly on a lot of things, and they're coming fast. You saw the property, you saw the house. That's not the only place. One day it may be somewhere else out here, talking with people, manifesting certain things. I'm not waiting for any something that don't look like me to give me any validation. If I got to run and take a chance, it's not really a chance, because if you have the thought in your mind and you have the enthusiasm and a little bit of knowledge and you have a good team around you, anything that you come up in your mind with will work, not can work, or maybe might work. And it may not be a first shot thing, but you keep working at it. You keep working at it. You keep working at it, right? When you see people migrate to a new country, even let's take America, for example, and, you know, we have these experiences with different races coming to the country, right? The first people that are coming there, the ones who are the pioneers, the ones who are hardest workers, the next wave of that clan of family, those are the drunks and winos and lazy people that come along because they got an uncle or a father or parents, or, you know, but the first ones, no, they're the ones who got it going on, you know, but we don't want to have that in our plans. If you want to be lazy and don't eat, I mean, one thing I will agree with the Bible when they say a lazy man won't eat. There's a lot of truth in the Bible, but the Bible is you and it's in you. Listen to that inner voice, vibe with people who are like you on a high vibration, a high energy level. Damn it, I can't fake this. I must be high energy. I was shooting up I got 2 extractions a day, right? Man, they would shoot me up the way I felt like, man, I got hit in the face with Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, all of them. Like, damn, I'm numb. I got talking like this. I was like, what? I was punchy, right? But now, you know, in my spirit, I feel a certain way. If you put a gun on my head and said, Lance, you got to speak until 6 o'clock in the morning, do you doubt that I can do that? I'm going to back up and just give in and rest a little bit so I can come back stronger. Me and Mr. Scurv got some walk and talks to do. My free time between tonight and tomorrow, I'll be working on some stuff, and it's just about the content. And tomorrow night, we will have the show, but there'll be snippets of all kind of things that I'll be throwing at you. So stay tuned, and just thank you for the support, share and like and all that good stuff. You know how that goes. But regardless, I'm going to keep putting stuff out there. I'm going to keep on putting stuff out there. And I invite all of you, if you have something to say, something to share, I'll do it the way you say it. You don't have to show your face. You know, and I'm going to get one of those, Master Glenn, I got to get one of those little things that change your voice. You know, when you hear the mafia dudes that don't want to be seen and they're sitting in the darkness and they're, well, I used to kill 35 people. Their voices have changed. I'll get one of those. I saw it and I got to get it. You know what I mean? So if you find that, let me know. and let me know how much it costs and everything like that. And that way we can have everybody come on and spill the tea and spill the dirt, not gossip, but the real things we need to know to navigate these shark-infested waters. Anyway, much love to you all. LanceScurv out. We're going to play a little music, and I'll be back in a few hours whenever I wake up, because it's not like I have to go to a job and not. This is my job, and that's the thing. All my waking hours, I'm doing this, and I'm keeping you in mind. I'll walk with you even when you don't think I am. I have you in my mind and my heart, and I walk with you 24/7, and I love you all very much.
Real
Peace.
might get you canceled. The whole system need to dismantle. Coppers treated like the utmost wanted. Trying to rule the block, but don't know what goes on it. News got a story with a new take on me. Carrying out the window with the screw face on me. But I know that God love me when my burn. 95 degrees and I can't get sunburn. Wonder when your government don't make me legal. Burn the whole city if I can't be equal. Get off my please, Brad, I earned that. 400 years, how you still ain't learned that? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Shout out to the trying to gentrify the genre. Tell them free my middle finger to your honor. In the days coming down the seconds on the timer. Goofy still trying to purchase that designer. About to buy, learn to grow my own food. Cause I don't like the look they give me in the Whole Foods. And when you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. But it ain't on me now, I'm limping cause my heavy. But ain't sweet, think we thin. My whole attitude on MC Ren. It's my neighborhood now, Bob, I bought that. 400 years, how you still ain't caught that? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes sir, I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they say. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out.
John Hawkins showed up in our country, telling us of a land filled with luxury. He said, black man, follow me to America. There you'll find more gold for your labor. Our foreparents were tricked onto his boat. Since that time we've been wrestling with the goat. We landed here in Jamestown, Virginia, 400 years to suffer. So my friend, it's easy to tell, white man heaven is black man hell. When the slave master wanted to have some sport, he would heap on our parents cruelties of the worst sort, burn them at stake, hang them on trees. His ears were deaf to our parents' pleas. Though you were pregnant, black woman, you pull the plow like a horse, like a dog, even a cow. He filled your womb with his wicked seed. His half-white children you were made to breed. Oh, my friend, it's easy to tell, white man heaven is a black man hell. So-called Negro, open up your eyes. Black man everywhere is on the rise. He has kicked the white man out of Asia, and he's going fast out of Africa. With every ounce of strength and breath, his cry is give us liberty or give us death. The whole black world has their eyes on you to see what the so-called Negro is going to do. So my friend, it's easy to tell, our unity will give the white man hell. God made a promise to Abraham, his seed would be a stranger in a foreign land. They would suffer and be afflicted 400 years, but he would come, wipe away their tears. Our God and Savior, Allah has come. He has declared the white man's day is done. He has given us a divine messenger, one prophesied to come. His name is Elijah. We now can stand up, the whole world to tell. Our God has come to give us heaven and take the devil into hell. Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition, stripped of our names, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion? Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But all of the years that we're living, for us there's nothing but hell, pain, torture, and misgiving. Yet the Bible speaks of a heaven filled with material luxury, which the white man and the preacher has right here, so we see. So my friend, take it for what it's worth. Your heaven and your hell is right here on this earth. So let's check back into history, which rewards all research and tells us plainly. Before the white man gained entry to the East, he was living in the caves of Europe, a ravenous beast, eating juniper roots and eating flesh raw, till God sent Moses to civilize him and teach him the law. Then, following Marco Polo, an explorer, he gained entry into Asia and Africa. From China he took silk and gunpowder. From India he took jute, manganese and rubber. He raped Africa of her diamonds and her gold. From the Mideast he took barrels of oil untold. Raping, robbing, and murdering everything in his path. The whole black world has tasted of the white man's wrath. So, my friend, it's not hard to tell. A white man's heaven is a black man's hell. Before we came to America, we were living in the East. By the Nile River, we were living in luxury, enjoying freedom, justice, and equality. We wore silken robes and slippers of gold. We were the wealthiest and the wisest people, I'm told. Now we are the poorest of the poor. Nobody wants us at their door. So, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell. When the white man came to America, he told the Indian, I am your white brother. He said, red man, I'll treat you the best. Yet and still he pushed the Indian further west with his white woman and fire water. With tricks and lies he stole America. The original owner of this nation is cooped up on a reservation. So, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell. He needed someone to work the land. His back was too weak. He needed you, black man, so he commissioned Sir John Hawkins to commit the world's most grievous sin, to take a man who's born to be free and bring him down to slavery, to sell a man as merchandise, on his body put a price. Oh, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell.